All right, Pang, we live. The Elite Podcast, episode 19.
19.
19, jeez. Going by quick, man.
Yeah,
Going
yeah,
by
yeah. This,
quick.
you know what I'd be doing now is I'd go to the YouTube page and I'd just be watching all the interviews, just studying up a little bit on everybody that we interview. Get some reminders of some things that we talk about and just some of the regular stuff. You know.
Yeah. True that. Yeah, man. So how everything is, man? How the week going or so?
Well, I took the day off for work today. My son was doing he going to a private school, so he had to do a placement test today. So I took the day off to take he out there and just hang out with my kids a little bit today. And
Okay.
it yeah, it was a little bit rainy, but for the most part, it was
Yeah,
a
that's true.
a, a beautiful day.
That's good, man. That's good, man. That's good. So Tiga won't be here tonight. It got like a tropical storms going on in the VI. So, we send our, wishes and everybody be safe out there. So, man,
Yes, sir.
everybody be careful. Electricity be going and so, everybody just be safe.
Hey, I don't see everybody posting about Wapa all the time, even when they don't have a storm. So imagine when they have a storm.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
for them.
true. Yeah, I feel for them too, listen. So our hearts is with you guys, man. So you guys just be safe. Everybody be safe. All the viewers who tuning in and stuff, big up to everybody. We appreciate you guys tuning in and stuff. So let me go ahead and get these shout outs out the way, Pang.
Hmm.
So first up, we have legends340.com. Big up to Dingo, hold your head up, Ringo. You guys gotta support legends340.com. I always go, a lot of good garments, a lot of good stuff, for the males and females, as well as kids too. You got some nice hats as well, some good hoodies. Also, we got
Yeah.
Savory Eats. Oh, go ahead, Pan.
No, same thing. Oh, he got face mask now too.
Oh yeah, he have the face mask too as well. Face mask to match the shot. That is true. That is true. Thanks for reminding me. We have our Savory Eats LLC in Orlando by Sheena Fontaine. I always got to support when she have food sale. Also, the Good Life Apparel, my boy Nato. Got to support. We have the Melting Pot Cooking Class, and that's at Instagram. Melting Pot Cooking Class at Instagram. Also, meltingpotcookingclass.com as well. Meltingpotcookingclass.com. We have Sabon Caribbean Restaurant. We have Apollo Legion. And we have at Instagram Island Destiny 340 Serenity Braids by Nikki. We have Rico Canario website at www.lulu.com/spotlight forward slash R Canario. I'm struggling today, brother. We have Right Way Service Station located in Princess next to Avis. We got Paris Enterprise. Also follow Livewire Sports on Facebook. They always live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Follow on Facebook, Livewire Sports. We have Midnight Entertainment. Big up to our boy Frenchie. Big up. That's in Jacksonville. And then we have Next Level Up Printing. Next Level Up Printing. Also the Elite Podcast. Subscribe, follow on YouTube, on the YouTube channel VI Legends. And if you search it, you gotta put YouTube channels, and then they'll come up as well too. All right, so we got a shout out all the way, Pang. Last episode we have Big Andy.
Big Andy, Big Andy was like a funny episode, man, and he seemed like he got stories for days. One thing I like is that he traveled the world. I
Yeah,
always tell my son, man, or anybody that I talk to. One thing I really appreciate for playing basketball is I get to travel a few places that I probably would have never gone if I wasn't playing basketball. And
yeah,
I have a lot of humbling experiences because we did go to a lot of third world countries, and to see how people living and things like that, it just make me appreciate everything that I have. I don't have much, but it makes me appreciate everything that I do have. And that's due to visiting some of those countries that we've been, and I thank basketball for that. So he just had a lot of stories that that was just funny, serious, touching at the same time. And
Yeah,
like this is why I love this show, because everybody journey is different. um, Regardless of if we play the same sport, everybody go through a similar but different experience at the same time.
yeah.
But and that's why I love and respect this show. That's one thing I looking forward just for more episode, because we have a lot of legends to interview.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of legends, man. A lot of legends. You're right. Everybody journey is so different and it's so unique. And it's so interesting. And if we never had the chance to really sit down and talk to the person, we would just never know how unique, their journey was. And that's one thing that sticks out to me when you guys talk, especially with the basketball, when you guys talk about, representing the country and the VI, you guys playing in so many different, tall wall countries throughout the Caribbean. Even when you guys went to China for the Olympics, I'd be like, man, I wish I was on some of them trips, because those is amazing trips, man. And like you said, if it wasn't for basketball, you had never experienced those, those trips, man. It's amazing, man.
I
That's
know
amazing.
I know you had your run in with Sylvester around that time there, but for that university games, you should have been on them trips there, because
Yeah.
I think the first one we went to, I think you were graduating that year or something. Either you were either graduating that year, or
Hmm.
I don't remember. But when the China trip came around, you were definitely eligible to play, and
Yeah, I was that. Yeah.
I don't know why that man didn't link you for that trip there.
Yeah. I think I was for that I think I was playing baseball then.
Mm,
So I wanted to be able to play.
gotcha.
Yeah, because from 2004 until 2011 was I was playing baseball, so I could have never played no basketball.
So I always want. Well, I gonna save this for your interview. This
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
question I gonna save for your interview. But well, today we have another interesting legend in the field of baseball. I know Mumbai, you gonna know him a lot better than I will. For me, the name don't ring a bell, but looking at his face, he looks very familiar to me. I was also watching his baseball pictures, and I could see at least like five or six people that I know personally. Well, not personally, but I knew, on that baseball team. I know Bully Navarro, looked like
Yeah,
Terry Byron there on that team there.
Terry.
Some other faces from Williams Light and
You
the
got
Williams Light and Wim area that I
yeah,
know.
Rudolph Simmons in that picture, Makil in that picture. Yeah,
And
you got some legends in that picture, man. Hopefully we gonna
right,
eventually get them on. So you know, good night to everybody. Good night. A lot of people in the chat saying good night. What's up? So good night to everybody. We appreciate you guys
blessings.
tuning in. Yeah, blessings definitely. This George Bailey, man, Pang. This guy, when I remember playing Little League 9 years, that was a good thing about playing Little League baseball. Then was that when you was 9, you would play against 12 year olds, 11 year olds, because it was 9 to 12. And this guy, him, like when we had Terry Byron in the show, in the episode, a lot, all in the during our episodes, they used to put fear in me, my son, especially GB, because he used to throw hard. And during them times, you see somebody throwing gas, throwing hard, man, you are afraid to be in that box, my son. And
So he
man,
from West.
uh, I never know which part GB was from. To be honest, I don't think. I don't know. I don't think he's from West. I
He
never
just
know where GB lived. To be honest, I
he
never knew where
just
GB lived.
he just looks familiar, Mr. But we about to find out today, and
Yeah,
it,
Terry say you dunk on GB. Pang, you dunk on GB. That's what Terry says. So maybe GB might refresh this for us. That's what Terry said.
yeah,
So
he got definitely got remind me of that. I could honestly almost name everybody that I ever dunk on, and that's how much I wasn't really much of a dunker, so
yeah, he
but
said white. He said white lady.
white lady.
Yeah,
I used to be only one place. One person I had known, white lady. He's like a family member to me. Like he grew up around me in Lorraine, and his mother were close to my mother, and we was always at each other's house, so we'd call each other brothers. But I play ball on like a outside rim, but I don't remember dunking on anybody them time that.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. GB might tell us. You know, a lot of hey, that's the good thing about everybody who be tuning in, man. They got some good memory. So they got some good memory. Their memory better than my memory. You know,
Absolutely.
so absolutely for real. But yeah, yeah, Derek, SPS, yeah. But he used to GB used to put fear in me, man. He used to chug hard, man. And you're a young kid, man. You don't want to be stepping in the box and man it feels like it looked like 100 miles an hour, you know. And he was already tall. GB was, he was tall in Little League. So, that alone, man. But, you know, it's gonna be interesting, hearing his story, and we celebrating and honoring, George Bailey. So, I just can't wait for him to tell his story and everything and see what he's doing today and stuff. So,
I
you know.
I I know we live, Mumba, but I trying to find the live video on my phone, but normally it'll tell me when we go live. I don't see that. Oh, here we go. My bad.
Oh, we on Facebook or YouTube?
I down Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. Okay, yeah, yeah. To see those comments, yeah.
YouTube still don't show all the YouTube don't show all the comments either.
No, yeah. I could see all the comments because since I was the host, but yeah.
I know we live, Mumba, but
Yeah, but like Derek said, he was a grown man at 12, my son. So yeah, man. But Pang, I'll give you the honor. You know, you the man. Do the introduction.
well, folks, I know all the baseball heads anticipating this show. I think every baseball interview, everyone mentioned GB, George Bailey in their interview. So I think it was mandatory to get he on the line for an interview not too far down the road because everybody's mentioned his name. So without further ado, who everybody came online to see, George GB Bailey.
Welcome,
Hey,
welcome.
what's up?
We
What's
good,
going
man.
on,
We good.
fellas?
We good.
Before we ask any question, Terry mentioned something that I don't. Can you? Is there's any truth to that?
Okay, why train I think I got don't got close. I ain't play too much basketball. But
Right,
first question I go ask you is, Pam, what's your full name?
Stephen Hodge.
So you probably dunk on me is either at complex or or when I was playing when I first started playing and we play a game at Woodside or something.
So you went
Because I
to
think
you went to Woodson or Arthur?
no, I went to St. Joseph.
Oh, okay,
So it was like only two people ever dunk on me, and the one I think I remember was Terry Simon.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
that
and
can
then
that I don't remember dunking at you, so that story
okay,
can't be
so
true.
then so Terry making a mistake. Terry point dunk on me.
Right.
Because actually when Terry dunk on me, when Terry Simon dunk on me, it's probably he set me up because he wasn't in his own right.
Like anytime I think about dunking, I could think about I dunk on Renwick one time in an Arthur league. I dunk on Marios in practice one time. Um, there's not too much people like Duncan, and that's why I say I can
Right,
remember
right, right,
everybody
right.
like Duncan. And if I had Duncan, you ought to remember that.
Yeah, man, GB. So how everything is, man? How everything going?
Everything good, everything good. I just trying to get back on the baseball field to do some coaching, man. I ain't been coaching for a couple of months.
Yeah, I know how that is, man. I know you getting that itch,
Yeah,
you
shoot,
know.
I've been had the itch a couple of weeks in, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
man. So so we gonna get started.
Yes, sir.
First of all, Jimmy, which part of St. Croix you from? We was just talking about that.
Remember,
So
I'm from West. I'm from I live down the road from Arthur. I don't walk to Arthur and be on the track, the little old baseball field that nobody don't use. It's tennis courts. I ain't live too far from where JD live. JD live kind of up closer to where the school. JD live right behind Arthur Richards.
yeah, what
Like
that
right
area called again?
Uh,
If-
well, my neighborhood called White Lady. That's where
White
White
Moose is
lady.
from.
Lady. Yeah.
Moose
Okay.
is from White Lady. And then you got Hannah's Rest, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I were younger, I used to have a friend that lived White Lady. So I used to spend like my summers in White Lady, like that first road. So that's why when he said in White Lady, I'm like, when I used to
Who
be in
you
White,
what your friend what
This was like when I was like maybe like 8, 9 years old.
So you come
I
down that because you know they got only one way in and one way out of White Lady.
Right, right.
So
But
when
you
you
could
come
like
in,
go
when you
ahead,
come in, you can make the first right.
or you could go down
You
that
come in,
dirt
you can
road.
make the right, or you can go straight down. Now, when you go down that dot road, that's you going to Hannah's. You're going towards where Mikey Sudin and Ray Bennett then went. When you go past the field down that
Mhm.
dot road, that you can't take no regular car down that road.
Right.
When you
Okay.
go down,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Now you heading towards where Ray them from.
White Lady had like you go in and they got one right, but it'll go all the way around and you just could
Yeah,
come
when
right
you
back,
make the
right?
right, when you make the right, you make the left, you could go all the way down, come back around. Or you could just
Gotcha.
come in and go straight down. I
Straight
go
down.
straight down to my house.
So the person I used to be in there by his name is Baron Hatcher. This was like way back in the day, man. Like I was real young, even before I
Right.
went Arta. So
Okay.
only people I had know when I finally get to Arta, only people I had know from White Lady was Wilma or Will Wilbur, I think his name was. I can't remember Wilbur last name.
Yeah,
It
I
was
got see. I know a couple of Wilburs. Yeah, I wonder what his
yeah.
last name was.
I couldn't tell you, my son. Matter of fact, I maybe friend Wilbur on Facebook maybe about 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
But I still can't remember his last name. And he had a younger brother, but Wilbur used to play on the JV team with me. So,
Okay.
and I you see,
Yeah,
I would.
I used to spend a lot. Most of my time, honestly, you know, I leave my house in the morning. I go to school. I didn't come back home. I went to Grove. My
Mm,
family is from Grove. I split. My mother is from Grove. My father is from West. You know, so my Terry, Terry father is my uncle. So
mm.
I spend a lot of my time in Grove. So I go up there after school. I catch the bus, go to Grove, me and Terry, and then my parents come pick me up and bring me back home. So it was really a lot of my time was spent up in Grove. I ain't got no brothers. Terry and Maurice is my brothers. Okay, Terry and Maurice is my brothers. Real talk, real talk.
Yeah, that's true.
You had you got a partner on that team there. That picture with the team I took to Mexico. Ain't got another
Yeah.
partner from White Lady on that team there. He like in the middle, down on his knees,
Mm.
dark
I'm
skin.
trying to.
There's two dark
Yeah.
skinned people in the middle, and the one on the right is who I talking about. If he lived White Lady too.
In that picture they got McKeel and a little small dude with his hair pulled up named Rodney Raphael. Rodney from East. McKeel wasn't from White Lady. No.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we'd always start off the show with the first question. How did you get into to baseball? Like, what was where did the love for baseball come from?
The love for baseball start because I used to watch my father play a lot of softball, and my father was actually the person that used to run a lot of the pee wee. Before you get in the little league, the little kids, my father was, one of the people them that was the head of, running that those really young ones, like 4, 5, well, more like 5, 6. So you don't normally get into to the league until you're like 9. Rasan sneaky when he was 8, but but most of the time, my father had those really, really, young guys. So I love baseball. As far back as I can remember, baseball is deeply rooted in my family
Right.
because my uncle, my I got a lot of family members that play baseball, but my father is the one that really, of course, lead the way.
You mentioned about like spending all your time in Grove, and that's probably where I know your face from because when I saw the picture, I was like, wow, partner just looks so familiar. And I always know Terry growing up. I don't know if Terry had known me
Right,
growing up, but I always know about Terry because
right.
obviously he was the baddest thing in baseball coming out of Grove, and Grove was big on baseball because they had that baseball field up there, and they used to have a lot of games. We used to go up
Yeah.
there
Right.
and watch some of the games. Them I saw. Summer program used to see Terry about the place because I used to go to some of the summer camp up in Grove and
Okay.
like bull and bread. So Terry is somebody that I've always seen growing up, and
Okay.
it could be the reason why your face just sticking out to me, and you look so
Yeah. Yeah.
familiar. But
Sure. That's a Byron, man. That's a. Yeah.
so, what was your like first league that you ever played?
Well, the first well baseball I ever played was in the little Pee Wee league that my father, was doing, and I was just way too advanced. I remember, I think it was Aaron Abel. Aaron Abel used to be helping out my father, and I get a ball in a relay, and I tell the ball to home plate, and I was a bust the kid face up. And after that, my father was like, "You can't play in this league because you're gonna get somebody hurt." So my
Mm.
father pulled me out. And actually, like for a while, I used to, even before I started playing with St. Patrick's, I used to practice with Genix. I used to practice with Genix down in West all the time. And my father and Genix were trying to get me on Reds, my son. But like now, my uncle was a coach for St. Patrick's. They got no way you're gonna get me to play for the Reds. And I'm on that SPS. No way. The
Mm.
superpower Sam Max 100% every day, mama. You know what time it is.
So,
That wouldn't have been fair, man. If you are playing Reds, man, that would have been
That was
crazy.
hey, but the thing I love about when we was in the league, it was like you had so much abundance of coaching, right? And you had so many players that even if it wouldn't have probably even had no space for me and rest because they had so many that there was still Kareem there. When I first come in, Kareem Smith was the guy, like the dude used to challenge him, like you said, Mumbai. So you were saying you was worried about me. I was
Yeah.
worried about Kareem the exact same way, you know. But I mean, it was like the teams was always, even though you had teams that was better than others, you could find some really good ball players on every team, you know. You
Yeah,
could
that's
you could
true.
really find some good, some guys that could do a little something, you know.
So
So
how was your first experience playing Little League, playing with SPS?
hey, it was a great. It was. I tell you, I love it because everybody talk about JD. Let me tell you something, man. I look up to JD from the time I was young. I get to play with JD when I was 9 years old. JD, I think JD was 12. I get to play with Dwayne Brannigan, James. Dublin. I mean, Dublin. It was amazing. Like really, me and Terry breaking into that lineup, one and two. We learn a lot from those guys, like a ton from the guys ahead of us. You know what? It was a great feeling playing baseball when we were young. I mean, because when you get older, if you had played at a baseball field back when we were younger, you would not really get so intimidated when you get older in a big crowd. Cause we were playing against big crowds when we was little 9 year olds. The field
Yeah.
was always packed. You know, you was always in a position where you was playing like you was in the big leagues. To me,
No,
you
that's
know,
true. That's true. The ballpark used to always be packed. You always
you
playing
know,
in front of a big crowd.
the
You know.
basketball court packed. The little and them they playing baseball over in the little square over, and when something happened, everybody running to the fence. It's like it was always packed. People sitting outside behind the field, parked up in the cars, watching the game. So I think it was. I love the experience. You know, I love
Y-
that feeling because as a kid to have that kind of feeling is, it's just
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Like you said, especially in Wim, because in Wim you could actually park behind the fence, and
Right.
you was
In
all
the
surrounded
field.
everywhere. Yeah, around the
Right.
ballpark,
Right.
both sides behind the fence, you were surrounded. So it was just a different experience because you had people all over. You know.
Everybody was watching from every angle.
Yeah, that's true.
well, Mumba talk about the that you used to bring the heat, like
Hey, I ain't had no speed pitch, man. it was straight. You might as well just guess the fastball all league. That's how you game. The problem is the location was a little the location was a little rough at first for me. I mean, just me looking back to when I play, I used to strike out, some people, but it was like I wish I had better location. Location would have been, sometimes I feel like, everybody like dial it down, just straight. You're like, I ain't laying it over the base so somebody could lay it over the fence. Ain't doing that.
So
So yeah.
I was going to ask that question because you to bring the heat. Like, do you have any memorable home runs that people hit on you, or do you
I
have
could
any?
I'm gonna tell you the most memorable thing that ever happened to me in the league. And Rasan Smith mentioned this joker name, and he's a good friend of mine. Dude named Dario Rosa. I was 12 years old, and Genix, they call a fastball. No, call a fastball with my son, and I saw a speed pitch when they changed the fastball, and I saw a speed pitch, and Dario dumped it over the fence in All-Star, and that was it. That was pretty much put us out of the reach for the game. That was what ended the game basically. That same dude, just I mean, a beast at the plate, and that's why I always lean on my number one. The heat, you never see the movie Major League? Hey,
Yeah.
Rick Vaughn, the Terminator. Well, I lay out the Terminator, my son, and just drop it over the fence.
I remember that. I remember that game. I was there up east. I remember that game.
You
We
know,
just still talk about that right now. I tell you, I talked to him the other day on the phone, and I tell him, I say, you know what? If I didn't let you hit that home run off of me, you might have never been the man you are today. He's like,
I don't tell people that all the time. Like anytime I play ball, like if somebody blocked my shot, that's like the highlight of their career because that just don't
right.
happen.
Just don't happen. Yeah.
I don't take black shots. So I always tell you, if you had never blocked me, you would have never been the person that you is today. Because black
I
I just
saved your life.
yeah, I
I
just
mold you. That's what I tell him. I say, I mold you into the man you are today.
so
Yeah,
let me
man.
ask you a question. And you could even chime in a little bit on this Mumba for the baseball man them. Like I never understood baseball. I never know the ins and the outs of baseball. Like how you mentioned that you laid off for him. Like I know that your coach the be calling out plays and so like how you the call a play when you use a pitcher, how you the call a play or decide a pitch based on the person that you batted that batting against you. How do you make those decisions?
Well, I didn't pitch much past 13 to 15 much, but I know that when we were younger, if the coach or something, you wasn't shaking nothing off.
Yeah.
Especially if you playing for somebody like Genix or something like that, you can't shake off nothing. When you call it, you're gonna pitch it. But you get a little older, like me, like I've been around a lot of guys, and we talk about so many things, like crazy stuff. Like remember, this, some like where a person to hold the hands, like if they to hold the hands really low, elevate. You sometimes when you get to the higher level of of playing ball, you got the report, like Terry said. If you pitch in the next day, you log in pitch by pitch by pitch, weaknesses, strengths, different stuff like that. But sometimes you just got to go with what is your best. You know,
Mm.
I mean, you gotta trust. You gotta trust yourself. But I never really pitched at that. At that higher level. I know when I was younger, it was like more of like fastball, and I tried to try the off speed pitch, but it was never really, something that I was, very effective.
Mm.
I know as a hitter, like me as a hitter, I know pitchers gonna try to watch and say, okay, GB don't like the inside pitch that much, so we gonna come inside until he could prove that he can hit that inside pitch. But if you didn't see me play before, and you see this big dude, you're like, I ain't giving him nothing close. I ain't giving him nothing inside because he gonna dominate and hit it over the fence. When really, I don't want an inside pitch. I want to extend.
Mhm.
So
So
I think it's
what
just more observation, scouting.
Yeah.
which is
Oh,
more effective for? Oh no, go ahead, Mumba. If you had something to add to it.
no, I was just gonna say, yeah, in Little League it was more what the coaches call, Then when you get to college, well, I'm gonna speak from my experience because I was a pitcher. So
Yeah, move on in picture.
so college, you start learning the hitters. You start scouting. Like it depends on what school you go to. You just scouting the hitter and stuff. But when I got to when you get to professional, it's like everything. It's like Terry said, like Bailey just said too. He echoed it. If you pitching the next day or you pitching in that series, you will chart each hitter and stuff. Or you find out which hitter like to swing at the first pitch, which hitter like to swing at the second pitch, the tall pitch, the fourth pitch. Is he a free swing on a 2-0 count or a 3-0 count? A 2-0, 3-0 count mean that the pitch is 2 balls, 0 strikes, or 3 balls, 0 strikes. 1-0 count is 1 ball, 0 strikes, and that's usually a hitter's count, pan. A hitter is looking for a nice pitch because you gotta throw the ball over the plate. So you gotta look at those type of tendencies. Then does he like hitting the ball right field? Does he like hitting the ball left field? Like he hitting it up the middle? Does he like
You
hitting
got a
pop
lot of
fly? Ground balls. Is he? Does he? Can he hit the call ball? Can he hit the change up? It's like so much stuff going to pitching, pan, and it's so much that
pan,
you have to study.
pan,
It's so much.
pan. This man ain't lying, because you can ask anybody that play pro ball. Out of all the players that play on a baseball field, the two men them that got wake up the earliest is the pitchers and the catchers.
Yeah,
When everybody else cooling, they up. You know,
yeah, it's true.
pitchers
That's
out
crazy.
running, doing all kind of stuff. I'm like, nah, that's all right. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I still plan.
Are you just and usually when you get up to the higher level, Pang, the catcher and the pitcher really have a good relationship. They have a good conversation because the catchers they actually behind the plate, so they kind of see more. They have a more feel, so you
Mhm.
kind of work out the catcher too as well. So
I didn't know you know Spanish.
me,
Yeah, because that's what all of that sound like to me.
ah, hey,
Hey, hey,
yo poquito español, mi español malo, muy malo.
Hey, but you know, like as we go into these baseball interview, like I just learning more and more and more and more. And sometimes it'll make me want to go out and play baseball. Honestly, like I feel like I can
hey,
still
Pan,
hit a ball.
Pan. Let me tell you this. I ain't gonna lie to you, mission. I play baseball my whole life. I did and dab in some other sports. You know, I believe, I could have probably play. When I come up here, a lot of people tell me, boy, you should have lived in Florida because you would have been in the NFL. You know, like honestly, and I believe that baseball, man, this sport right here, I don't think people really, hitting the balls. Okay, I mean, really, that's like one of the hardest things to do. Period. Okay, but just being around a lot of these different coaches that up here, I don't hang around with a lot of guys that play like pro ball. Like I just was hanging out with Scott Proctor the other day in a meeting, in a 3D coaching, thing. I don't hang around a lot of, a good bit of really knowledgeable people. And
Mhm.
I don't do exactly what my father always tell me, just listen. Just listen to the knowledge, because the thing is that they got endless. I mean, I saw it's the same way in basketball. I mean, I saw it's the same way in any sport, but it's like baseball is just endless knowledge with these guys. And I would just be like, okay, I can just listen, I can just listen and, just log all this extra information because, you know, they got a lot of information out there. And if you don't listen, if you don't at least, give it a chance, give it a chance to, let it marinate and, figure out for yourself what approach you want to go with. But just remember, a lot of these guys were successful, at the highest level. And, at the highest level, doing, playing this sport. So they got what Mumba was telling you was just a little. I was like, just a little bit.
Yeah, those are just a little bit.
That's a little touch. That's a little touch. That
Yeah.
got a lot to it, my son.
Mumba, you mentioned something, or it could have even been you, GB. That like if you seen somebody the next night, or if you pitching again the next night, like at that level, what were y'all playing like if are you playing red and reds versus SPS? I trying to get the teams them right.
No, yeah, yeah.
I hope I'm
Yeah,
doing it
you
justice.
gotta,
You do
you
it right.
gotta.
You said Reds first, so you did it perfect.
So so do I you play like you see how major leagues are play like they play 4 times before moving on to the next team?
No.
Okay.
In the league, it was like, when they sent out the schedule, sometimes you was playing on the Friday night game. Like everything was on the weekend when I was growing up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday games. So like one game on a Friday night, and then games all day Saturday and all day Sunday. Maybe I think the game start like at 12 o'clock or something like that.
yeah.
When we were
12, 1
coming
o'clock.
out. And you normally would play 2 games, every weekend. So normally you're not gonna play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but you'll probably play maybe Friday and Sunday, or you might play Saturday and Sunday, Friday and Saturday, something like that. But I mean, it was never really like, it wasn't like a series. Like we're gonna play you 3 times this weekend or 2 times this weekend. It was really, every team, Reds plus Shamrocks, and then the next week Shamrocks playing Braves, or Reds playing, Dusters or something like that.
Dusters, yeah.
And then they go around. And then once everybody go around and play every team, once, then bam, they come back around again. And then by the end of the season, you'll probably play each other like 3 times or something like that, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Did did I you play through the rain?
When the rain get too bad, you come out the field, because when we were young, it was dot field, dot infield. So when you play that dot infield, that'll go really fast.
Okay.
When it poured on, when it really poured on. So nowadays they focus more on lightning, but I don't know if we even really
Right.
think too much about lightning. So I don't know. But
Yeah, that's
it
true.
was more, it was more like if the field too flooded, okay. If they were lightning way off and the corners are way up, you play it. When they
So
get closer, can pull out off the field.
this is a question for both of you. Crowser just asked how many teams they had in West. How much team I had in West?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what the teams I remember. It was SPS,
This guy.
Reds, Dusters, Chewies.
Chewies.
I remember Braves.
Braves.
Um, remember who I forgetting?
Um, Angels. Was Angels
Yeah,
there when you played?
Angels didn't come in, I think, until like my last year. So maybe
Okay.
my second to last. My cousin them used to play on that different group. My cousin them used to. I think my last year Angels are coming with a team.
You
I think
forgetting
I think so.
Caribs. Caribs.
Arabs, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Caribs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's about it, right?
I'd say, yeah, I think we had at least like 6 or 7 maybe,
Yeah, six. Yeah, I was at six. Yeah, 6 teams, probably 6 teams.
about 6.
You said Dodgers, right?
Oh, Dodger,
No,
yes,
he didn't say
Dodger.
Oh
Dodgers.
yeah. Okay,
Oh, I
Dodgers. Yeah,
said Dodger.
Derek said
Yes,
Dodgers. Yeah.
Theodore Simon, my son. That was my dude, my son. What?
Yeah, Theodore Sama,
Nice,
Calvin,
yes,
and Pickering. Pickering them,
yes.
yeah.
Khalid Pickering,
Khalid
yes, sir.
Pickering. Yeah. Yeah, man.
So when I was growing up playing ball, like one of the places I used to like playing because like there is our neighbor, so it was like kind of like a little rival thing. I used to like playing against Grove. Whenever we playing Grove leagues or any leagues, I always used to get up to play pushers or Ghetto Brothers, like any Grove team. I used to get up to play them, man. Like,
Right.
was it you used to be more excited to play West teams or East teams?
Um. Well, we didn't play East teams until Star.
No, Star. Yeah.
We didn't
Mm,
play East teams until All Star. So it was always going to be a dog fight when we play Reds. You
mm,
know, as much
Yeah.
as, and the thing is like Terry. I remember Terry saying, "We cool off the field, but I don't like you when we on the field." Like
right.
that's. I mean, we may chop it up and it might get a little small here and there, but like we literally going after each other, like really, you know.
Hmm.
And then you got bite the bullet at the end of the game, but it was definitely, I would say that the anticipation for playing an East team is, I wasn't never really worried about Central because Central wasn't, we know that when it come down to it in the final game, it's gonna be East against West. But
Yeah.
in Little League, I think, like when I was 11 and 12, it was like, when I was 11, it was like Jermaine Lynch and Johnny and all of those
Johnny be
guys. And
weird.
it got to a point where one day we was playing in West and them guys, they come and, taking a little peek at us, you know. They're like, okay, so I come in to take a look. So I must either be a little worried or I want to see what I got. No problem. Hey, you got nothing to hide. You still got hit.
Mm.
But I mean, but it was a lot of heat because the truth is when I think when I was 11 and Jermaine and Johnny, they were 12-year-olds. Like I pitched against them when I was 11, and I used to like me and Jermaine. Like whenever I see, I love that dude, my son, because I think that deep down inside, over the years, I figure out that our competitive, the reason why we used to butt heads sometimes so much is because we had the same crazy competitive nature. And if you done other team, I'm sorry, I ain't gonna respect you until after the fact.
Mm.
You're gonna have to
So
earn my respect. You're gonna have to earn it.
I
So
know
we used
about
to battle.
I know about Jermaine. Jermaine definitely got some stories and stuff like when it comes to he has a legend of his own and the island when it comes to baseball. And I know he was a
Right.
did he pitch? I know he was a power hitter, but did he pitch?
Um, when not much. I think it was most a catcher,
Catcher. Yeah. More
Okay.
catcher.
mostly catching.
Yeah.
So I really want you to talk about Johnny. Johnny's my brother. Me and Johnny used to get some battles playing
Hey,
basketball. So that's my brother. So
Johnny.
I want to know how good
G
Johnny was in baseball.
GD. That's what I call it. That's what I call it. GD. God damn it. That's listen. That guy had one of the biggest call balls ever in
Yeah.
the league, man. The dude had a hook. Okay.
He had a hook.
And
For real.
and you know what? And I ain't seen it too much, but they say he was nice on the court too.
Yeah, Johnny was
Yeah.
definitely good on the court.
Yeah. He could have ball for
Johnny,
real.
I see a little bit, and they were like, "Man, Johnny, nice on the court," So, but I mean, Johnny was Johnny had a good glove, and you know what? Johnny kind of like over the years, like over time, Johnny to me, Johnny grow on me, because he was always like to me really, always cool. But my beef was always Jermaine, But we end up being really really cool, yeah. Well, Johnny's my guy, man. Johnny is
Yeah.
my guy. Cause Johnny had to fight. See, Johnny had to fight for shortstop from Papo. And Papo was nice. One of them
Papo,
Reds, man.
Papo.
One of them Reds.
Papo.
One of them Reds, man. Papo was
Papo.
nice.
Papo was the man
You
of
know,
Reds. He was the man.
Papo
Papo
was
from Winners of Life
nice.
Pang. What
You
Papo? What was his real? What's his last name?
Navarro.
Navarro.
Bully cousin.
oh
Yeah,
Bully,
bully
Bully,
cousin.
Bully not,
Bully cousin.
but Bully was on that team in that picture too.
Yeah, bully was on
Okay.
that team.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. Well, that name, I know the name. That's why immediately when you say it, I was like, wait a minute, that name is
Anthony
standing out.
Navarro.
Anthony
Anthony
Navarro, yeah,
Navarro.
Anthony
Yeah.
Navarro. Hey,
that's
Yeah,
a
man.
Papo was nice.
that's a
Good.
Arthur man. So I definitely know he.
Yeah, he could have pitched. He was a good shot stop. He was a good player, my
Stop,
son.
man. Papo had good hands.
Yeah.
So you mentioned when you played for your uncle at St. Well, you went to St. Patrick.
Yes.
So St. Patrick had okay, what you would call a baseball team in St. Patrick? Is that Little League
Yeah, we
still?
had a baseball team. So it basically, if you went to school at St. Patrick's, you could, if you try out for the team, you make the team.
Ain't no question. You just got to come true.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of we most of the time, I don't know if we really had much. I don't I don't think we had much of a tryout. It was always kind of already know who was on the team. I don't know. I can't remember what my uncle them strategy was because my uncle coach was also Kenny Clark was a manager. Kenny Clark was a manager. Uncle Glenn was a coach. So it was almost already known who was going to play on the team because I mean, if you had if I coming in as 9 years old and a year before, you already had JD coming back, you had Dwayne coming back, you had James coming back, You already know they're on the team. That's a hands down thing, you know. And then we had some other guys. I think it was Ted and Andy. I think Louis Soto,
Can't remember
Jamal
Louis Soto.
Kurabaka. Like we had some other guys that was pretty much sure to come back. So
So I will leading up to this. What teams St. Patrick's will play? What schools are you would play?
nobody really had a school. It was just all the other teams in the league. We were just a school. We were just a team from St. Pat for the school that was
Gotcha.
built from players from the school.
But yeah, that was
Gotcha.
pretty.
Now there
Yeah, that
was
was
now there
yeah.
was players. Now there was guys that went to school there that didn't play on the team in years.
Oh,
I know in years before me. In
so
years
that's where the
before me, I
SBS
know.
come from. That's where the
Yep,
SBS come
St.
from.
Patrick's
Ding,
School.
the light bulb just went off.
That's right, St. Patrick's School. Yes.
Yeah. Them had a nice. Them had a Chris uniform too. That my uniform was nice. That's one thing I could say
Hey,
about
that green and white
SBS.
were nice, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That
Green
green and
and
white were nice.
if it could get a throwback jersey, man, I definitely cop one for real.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
So
So you went from what grade St. Patrick's I go up to? 8?
yeah, eighth
Eighth
grade.
grade. So when I was done at St. Patrick's, I went straight to St. Joseph.
Okay, and that's
I went
where you
yeah.
play with. Do you play with Terry or he before or after you?
Terry's a year before me. So Terry was
Okay.
still when I went to ninth grade, Terry was still in eight. And then St. Patrick's didn't really have I mean St. Joseph wasn't didn't have a baseball team. Like when we get into high school, they had a high school baseball league, but it wasn't really it wasn't really a great league. There was no chance for us to ever beat Central. Central had everybody, and there ain't got no way we could beat them. But
Yeah,
we
no way.
also had,
Drummond and Johnny used to play for Central, right?
yeah, I believe the BB, I think used to play. There's some older guys on that squad, on that Central squad too. It was, that they were just pretty much unbeatable. But we didn't really have much of a high school league, I think, until later on. I believe. I'm not sure, but I know most.
Yeah,
What I remember most of is playing like we used to play softball. We had a fast pitch like league. You could throw modified, you could throw fast pitch, and different stuff like that. There, so I used to play in that league because my father used to pitch softball. So that was we had. I think almost everybody had a team. Like Good Hope had a team. St. Pat. St. Joseph.
Country Day.
Central. You know, yeah, yeah. Everybody had a little Mark Phillips. Let me see. Little Gus Bell. Little Gus used to play for Country Day. You know, so
I used
I
yeah.
think Mark went to Good Hope. I think
Mark went to go home.
Mark and Khalid was at Good Hope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cali
so
Greenwich. No,
Pickering.
Pickering.
um, Pickering. Okay,
Yeah, Khalid Pickering.
I know a Cali Greenwich. But I think he went to St. Dunstan and then I think he ended up going to St. Joseph. You should know
Yep.
Cali Greenwich. Then if you went to St. Joseph, dark
You
skin.
mean Khalid
Yeah,
Greenaway?
Cali. Yeah, that Greenaway. I said Greenwich. Sorry, Greenaway.
Basketball player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
basketball.
what.
Yeah, yeah. I know Khalid was in my class.
Okay, got you.
I
Frenchie
tell you who was nice was David Martinez.
in basketball. I know he ain't good in
Yes.
basketball.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
David didn't play nothing else, but David used to hoop. David and
David
Khalid was the squad.
David could jump out the gym.
Hey, that
That
joke I had some game.
Man, that dude head used to be above the rim, Mumba. Mumba, you don't know David Martinez?
No, I know David Martinez.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I know
Yeah.
David.
David doing his DJ thing now, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
yes.
a
Nice. Nice. I see you hear some of his
yeah,
stuff. He's
he's
nice.
that's good, man. That's
he'll
good.
be live on Facebook doing his little cuts them and stuff.
Man, me
Yeah,
see this
yeah.
man in years, brother.
I hear that, yeah.
Um, go
Oh,
ahead. No,
no, I
you
was
go ahead, you
going.
go ahead.
Terry asked a question. Um,
Oh
I gonna
God.
be
Here we go.
before you ask, I gonna be right back. I just gotta do something real quick. I'll be right back.
yeah, you good. Yeah, so Terry asked a question. Why he didn't play with 30 to 15 Grove? With Grove.
why he didn't play with 13 to 15 Grove. I trying
Yeah,
to
ask
think.
him why he ain't play with 30 to 15 with Grove.
I think he played when he was 15. He played with
Who?
Holly when he was 15. Terry.
Yeah, why didn't you play?
Why didn't I play?
Yeah, why didn't you play?
As a Cubs man. I mean, Terry know that. I went from SPS and I went to Cubs. You can't mess with Cubs. Nobody couldn't mess with Cubs in Senior League.
I
Even
was
Rangers.
I was wondering why you play with Cubs. Because Cubs was more
No,
like a
because Cubs is like Cubs was basically the guys that joined together. St. Patrick's ain't had no more team. So now you're talking about, um, Papu, Mark, Rasan was already playing,
yeah.
so it was pretty much an easy transition, for me, you know.
I was thinking
And, and
because
like
I used
like
oh
I
go
keep
ahead.
telling Terry, the good thing about it is I know I had urges to play with Vikings at times. I had urges to play, but you know what? I got the best of both worlds. My mother is from Grove and my father is from West, so I get to make that choice. And he know.
Hey, I'm laughing because that man in the comment messing with you, but because I used to always feel like Cubs was like Reds. You check
Right, right.
like that. That man say you are sellout. They say you run the G Knicks.
Hey, I got the best of both worlds. They could hate on it, but they know what time it is. I from White Lady, and I grew up in Grove, so how that's a sellout?
That
That,
man never mess. Frenchie and
that's all
Terry
right.
messing with you, man. And so
Who messing
no
with
man.
us?
No, it's in the chat, man. I'm not messing with you, man. No, but
That's all right.
that's why I used to be like, man, because I used to feel like after Reds, then we just go to Cubs. You check. That
Right.
was the team. But I used to wonder, I was surprised that you was playing with Cubs. That was
Because most people after we were done with when we were done with SPS, where they went. I trained on 13 to 15. I can't remember exactly what JD played with let me say no, JD played with Maurice. That's right. JD. I think JD and Maurice played. No, see, that's what I'm talking about. Maurice played with the team from Grove, and JD was playing, I think, with Kareem them. And JD is from St. Patrick's.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
So
true.
hey, ain't nothing that I created. It was something that was just, cause see Terry, when Maurice used to play, I think in the senior league level with Sweeney and those guys that play with Grove, JD was on that team with Kareem and I think like Dwayne them. I don't know if Dwayne, I can't remember if Dwayne I played on the team. Can't remember for sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
so
That's
yeah, but I could expect that. But you know what? Guess what? Competition is competition. Maybe they was a little worried that they had to face me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that was they were a little worried that they had to face the stick on the other head.
Jimmy talking spicy, my son. Jimmy talking
Hey,
spicy.
hey, Terry know he don't want to poke the bear. I see what I when I lanced over here when we was in the river in batting practice. Techie deep, high and deep,
we go
deep.
we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. So Pang, we have a crazy story, me and GB, right? So this was during the summer and I was going pal. I don't know, GB, you want to tell the story?
No. You go ahead, Mumba. You go ahead. Take it, Mumba. Take it.
So Pang, right?
Mhm.
So I going pal. GB, what summer camp you were going to at the time? Because we were playing IO for some reason in Wimbar Park with
You
pal.
know what? I don't think I was playing. I don't know, my son, because I don't remember going to much camps when I was young.
So we had a team from pal and we were playing GB them, right? And like I said earlier in during this episode, I used to be afraid to bat against this man because the man used to throw hard. You check?
Mhm.
And I facing this man we playing some summer league or whatever in Wimbar Park. I think I was like maybe 10 years old. 10. I think I was 10. And I
You were
facing
9.
this man. Yeah, I was 9 or 10. And I facing this man, my son. And in my mind, pang, I just say, man, please do not hit me with this baseball, brother. Please do not hit me with this baseball. Pang, this man beat me, brother. Oh my God. Worst thing ever, man.
You cry?
Man, if I cry, I was crying. I was on the ground. I was digging the helmet in the dirt. I thought my heart was going to stop because he hit me somewhere in my chest, like in my heart area, my son. Oh my God, man. Worst thing ever, man. Worst thing.
Was there any basketball
Yeah, man, I
injury you ever
remember
had?
that,
Oh,
listen.
was there any basketball? No, not was there any basketball injury, but that was bad. You check? Because I was already afraid to face it and then to get hit. You check? So that's what make everything more worse. But
So one
So,
you said like you really had no competition in St. Joseph, and so how were you able to prolong your baseball career? Like, is it more the inner city leagues that I used to play in? Is that where the real excitement
well,
come from?
what happened is when we were done with 13 to 15, you'd have jumped right into man league.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, when I was 15 and I was done with 13 to 15, we got finished like I maybe just by some time or something like that. I jumped right into the man league. I was 15.
Hmm.
So I was playing with A's from West, and that was a whole bunch of other guys that was like JD was on that team, JD brother Jeff was on that team, Sonny Christopher was on that team. There was a lot
yeah.
of really, really this older guy, Basil Stevens was on that team. Stevie Daniels. There was a lot of really, really good ball players that like really, kind of just sucked me in and kind of
Is
influence, kept me going.
is that what Terry talking about when you run from playing with Grove?
Maybe Terry might be talking about that older division, but like I told him, I said I always check in because my father used to play with the Saints,
Mm-hmm.
which became the A's. My father never played for the Vikings. My father used to
Mm-hmm.
play for the
Okay.
Saints. So the Viking, the A's became, I mean, the Saints became the A's. So that's who I went ahead and played for in my league. But one of the main reasons why I wanted to play with the A's was because Vikings was the powerhouse. So therefore, I don't want to necessarily. I've never been the type of person that always wanted to be on the best one. I felt like I playing with A's, playing against Vikings. I go, that's good competition. That's that really, really good competition that we're gonna face on that team. And I want that because that's what's gonna make me a better player. That's really, honestly, where I like is I always like to play against Vikings because I used to, when you go against Vikings and you got to face like Colin King and God bless him, Bullseye and all them guys at this bro. Them, listen, I used to play third base with son and Kenny Jackson that was a dead pull hit and I ain't gonna lie. At 15, I was like shoot. I ain't trying to be in close with this and pulling the ball because the base had a little lip, and I was like, "What? If I stay too far behind it, hit the lip, I gonna get my face bust open. So I gotta get before, you know. So I playing back,
So was
but yeah, man, it was good competition.
when you enter Man League, was like Dido and so still playing?
What? Listen, let me tell you something. They got a lot of guys I could say, a lot of people, a lot of names I could name because I feel like somehow, shape, or form, all of them influenced me somehow. But
Yeah.
Dido used to play on my father um, team with the hospital, I think the injectables. And like literally Dido used to remind me of like when you watch it, you think this is like a big league man. Like the way this man used to lay out for bars and his arm and just his pure athleticism. Like that's one of the dudes that I always like really really look up to because when I talk to him, good conversation, really good knowledge, trash talk a little bit, you know. But yeah, Dito was one of those guys, man. Really really good talent and just good person to look up to. And you're talking about on the field. That man used to drop nukes, man. Like, man hit a
Okay,
ball in East
Yeah.
Michigan.
Okay, what does nukes mean? Explain that.
A nuclear bomb.
Bombs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's what they call home runs. They don't call home
Home
runs
run.
bombs.
Okay, okay,
Bombs,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
drop nukes a few times. I'm like, what the hell is this man talking about,
Yeah, man.
So I was gonna ask you a question, but I think you answer it because earlier you mentioned you when you move up, you wasn't pitching anymore, but you just recently mentioned that you were playing third base. So
Yeah.
why? How was the transition to third base, and why did you change from pitching to third base?
Okay, because when I was done with Little League, when I got up to 13 to 15, I still used to pitch a little bit. I still used to pitch a little bit in the 13, but Genix had already Genix wanted me to learn to play third base, and when I got up to 13 to 15, Rasan used to be our third baseman, but then when I came in, Rasan was our main pitcher, and I came in, and that's when I started playing third base. And Genix just walked my behind at third base, left, right, and I became a really, really, really good third baseman, as to the point where that was my main spot.
Mm.
Yeah.
When we went to all those tournaments, like we went to Aruba when I was 13. We played in St. Croix at Paulie Joseph when I was 14. And then when I was 15, we went to Mexico. And in all of those tournaments, I was the main, I was the main third baseman on the team. So it was a real simple transition. When I got up to the higher level, by that time I think that I had established myself as a good third baseman. So the transition was easy. The pitching was really, you know, kind of like a backbone, and that was like something that you did when you were young, and you kind of grow away from to your main position.
Um, Give me tell me explain some of your duties as a third baseman for somebody like me who don't really know what it means to play third base.
Yeah, well, third base is called a hot corner, you know. And for some of the guys that we don't fool around with, Elmo Plaskett, God bless his soul, he said that the third base is you turn the hot corner cold. So basically, you you got field ground balls, of course, to the runners out to first base. You got your double plays. You got backup. You got field bunts. You got to cover your bases. I mean, it ain't nothing like really no other positions, but it is. If anything, the ball coming down to base probably faster than any other position other than if I left people into the first base side. It's a hot corner. You
Yeah.
know, y'all got a good glove to play third base.
Mm.
Good glove. Definitely got a good glove. That's true. So, talk about your first experience traveling with your 30 to 15 team going to, you said when you were 30, you went to Aruba.
Yeah, well, we went to Aruba, and we actually I remember Rasan was talking. Remember the story Rasan tell you about Genius and Jermaine? I was
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that. I was there, and I was playing third base. And in this tournament, we faced a guy by the name of Sidney Ponsoon. That guy was 15 when we was 13,
Simi Pontoon.
and a year later, and the man was trying like literally like mid to upper 90s, like 95 and up, like straight cheddar, no off speed pitch, straight heat. Okay, and he ended up like down in those countries you could sign when you like 16. I think it's about 16 years old. You could sign to go play
Yeah.
pro, and I
Same with
swear,
basketball.
Same as
right.
basketball.
Yeah.
I swear, maybe about 2 years later, he was in the big leagues with the Orioles.
Yeah, that's why when you said that name, I was like,
Couple,
wait, he playing in the major leagues.
yes, he played in the major leagues. Couple years later, he was in the big leagues in the show. So that, I mean, that guy was mowing through our lineup like there was like, hey, slice flying through everybody. But I mean, this guy he was on a whole nother level though. He
Yeah.
was on a whole nother level.
You use another term that kind of threw me off. So and then maybe it makes sense. You said sliced bread. Earlier you said he was throwing cheddar. Is that related?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you were throwing heat. You're trying to eat, basically. Yeah.
I was like throwing cheddar. Like, what the hell is this? Like he
Gas, it's
melted.
on
Or,
gas, it's on gas.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, got you,
chewing
got you.
gas. Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, but that was, I mean, that was a good, it was, all those experiences, like, Aruba the first year, and then in St. Croix, the next year that we play in St. I think the year that we had played in, when we went to Aruba, that was the first time I met Calvin Pickering. And that was
Okay.
like, oh my gosh. Like, I was like, dude, this dude is, how old he is? But he was already, like he said, he was already playing man league, way earlier. Like, from the time he was, 13 or whatever, he was already playing man league.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Duke could hit, dude had a lot of power. I thought that was big. And then when I see that guy, I was like, whoa, I smile compared to this man, listen. But
At that age when I travel, I always pick the best players from different teams, or it was just a
well,
team.
that was yeah. That you know what? Funny you say that because that's like the difference when you get into 13 to 15. If you in the league, the All Star team that was picked from West go up against the All Star team that was picked from East and
East and
Central,
Central. Yeah.
Mhm.
and then whoever win out of that got to play against St. Thomas, same the team that win. But when you in 13 to 15, they'll pick a squad, everybody to walk out, and then they'll cut the team down to the to the best group, to the guys that they want to pick to actually go to play to go play against and you didn't play against any teams from St. Croix anymore because that was East and West and Grove and in the middle
Yeah.
coming
All
together.
over.
And, yeah, and you make one team out of that, and
Mm.
then you play against St. Thomas. If you beat St. Thomas, then because they used to have the same thing going on over there. They got three spots. They pull their squad together. We pull our squad together. We play them, and whoever wins from that goes to the Latin American tournament. And that's when you
Mm.
facing. That's when you facing Puerto Rico. Dominican Republic.
Republic,
You facing. Venezuela. You facing.
Venezuela, yeah.
And it was it
Mexico,
was it was
Aruba, yeah.
tough. I mean, you had to bring your best game
How much time you participated in that tournament?
three times.
Mm. So three
Apart,
times, three
yeah,
times that you and the team Cruz beat Rock for you to go.
yeah. We used to demolish Rock. Rock didn't want no part of we.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Like
Yeah.
literally, like honestly, when we played Saint, listen, we used to demolish them, man. Like there was no comparison. That's why nowadays, whenever Terry said he see them guys a couple of times, and they were like, "Say, girl, you said," I can't deal with it because we put so much licking on them man back in the day, you know.
Somebody did admit to that. I can't remember if it was Calvin or I think it was Calvin Pickering. He did admit to that St. Croix used to always beat up on them.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
put a
Well,
licking
Yeah,
on
yeah,
them
it's true.
man
Yeah.
like for a while.
so now you moving up. Your skills is polished. How was like how you ended up at Indian River? What kind of recruitment was going
I
on for
think
you at that time?
you know what? Really, it wasn't. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in terms of my mind was always set on being drafted.
Mm.
Being drafted. I didn't even really necessarily think about going to school. I didn't really know the process. There was really no process to me back then. It was just like what we gotta do to get drafted, you know. But yeah, watch out. Watch out. This gonna ring a bell to you. There was a guy named Joe Mahalik. Same guy that Rasan mentioned. Joe Mahalik was really good with Terry Brother, with Maurice, and Arnold Brathwaite, and JD, and all of those guys. And this is how small this wall is. When I met him, I met him, through Maurice, them, hitting in the batting cage up in Grove, in Terry Dem Yard. And I kind of made a connection with him, and turns out he used to be one of the coaches at Indian River.
Mm.
So
Mm.
he set me up. I didn't have a scholarship my first year in though. I was on my keep. You know, he was one of the guy. He told me, he said, listen, you can go to Indian River, you can walk on, but you're gonna have to completely impress Coach Esom. You're gonna have to lose weight. You're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to do that. And I basically went into Indian River, as a walk on. And I had to do the exact same things that he was talking about. Like I walked into college at 250 and I had to shave it down and drop down to, to 220. And, really, I was a good athlete, but it was, I had to learn to be in shape, and how to
Mm-hmm.
really, compete in good conditioning. So Mahalik was the one that got me into Indian River, but I still had to like really on my keep, in terms of a player.
Mm. I gonna drop a name from you for you. Did you know you were good with the females on Indian River girls basketball team? You know anybody from
Some of them,
Do you know Andrea Webster?
Andrea Webster.
Light skin, shot. She probably played point guard at Indian River.
What year was that? You remember? Since
I reached to college in '98, and I think she reached there the year before me, so she probably got there in '97. So she probably been in Indian River 96, 95.
no, Indian River. Yeah, I was at Indian River in '96. I get there in '96.
Because
So
she know Cliff. She know Cliff real good. She said Cliff was one of her
Andrea
full.
Webster.
Yeah. Everybody used to call her Andy. She from Miami.
Mm. I don't. The name don't ring a bell, but I didn't hang out with the basketball players that much. I knew most of the girls, but I don't. That one there, that's a tough one. Most of them was nicknames, and I don't. The only person I ring a bell was this girl named DC. She was nice. And she had good skills. That's the only like skin black girl I remember.
She had another girl that came from that school with her that came up to our school. So that could have even been the DC person because the girl was good. She didn't play when she came to our school for whatever reason. But Andy used to say she was real good when they went to school. So that could have been the same girl. I don't remember her name.
What
Sure,
school? What school? What school you was at?
EWC, Edward Waters College in
Oh, okay.
Jacksonville.
Oh man. Hey, sorry. Hey, Pan. Not to really we trash our human baseball, dude. When I was up at Hookman.
Oh, I
I
used to
think we
play
play Iowa.
EWC.
I think we play Iowa one time.
Man,
Man. Whew.
even though I could trust the baseball team on that one, but I probably won't see me in basketball. That's all I cared about.
Hey, yeah, Hookman, yeah, we wasn't that great on the court.
And we got two questions, Pang. You want to take the questions?
By who?
Uh, one by Derek and one by Terry.
Who's first? Terry question was first or last? Or second?
Derek was first, and then you could go with Terry.
Okay, so Derek asks, what was the one thing you took from playing home that you pass on to the youth?
What one thing that I take from home that I would pass on to the youths.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
that you learned from home that you're giving back.
yeah. From playing
You
from
know,
home.
honestly, like I do a lot of coaching up here, and a lot of the kids that I coach up here. Over the years, I really see a lot of resemblance of us home. Because I coach a lot in a city. One thing that I think I take from home is that it's just tough love, man. Like tough love. Like anywhere I went, I couldn't act a fool. I couldn't act a fool because everybody knew my parents. And it was like you had tough love on all ends, and I think that tough love helped me become tougher away from home.
Hmm.
Whenever I went through a tough time, or just when my coach was yelling, "Yeah, yeah, do this, do that," it was like, really, there ain't nothing like Genius not on we all the time. Like it was like no problem. So I think that the tough love, I would say that, I mean, that's one of the things to me that'll stick with me, is that to me, if you grow up in St. Croix or you grow up in the islands, you had some kind of something built in you that when you go off, you could fight adversity at, at any level.
Yeah,
So that's
I
something
agree.
that's something that
it's
I
true.
would say, because a lot of the kids, they'll take off, and if they were really like spoon fed and they didn't really have no tough love when they get after school or they're away from home for a certain amount of time, man, down like this ain't going my way. I gonna head back home. And I wouldn't say I can speak for everybody, but I know most of the guys that I know is like it was one of those things where, you know what, hey, I gonna go up there with a little chip on my shoulder. Anybody at my position, I gonna beat you out for the position. If you fight, you gonna have to deal with me every day until the position is mine. You know. So I
Hmm.
would
It's a
definitely
mindset.
say, that tough love, turning into, being able to have, a lot of adversity. Being able to overcome any adversity that was in your way.
What type of adversity that you went through trying out for the team, like trying to make the team at Indian River?
Well, like I
Besides
said,
shedding the weight.
well, I was a walk on, so he already had scholarship players. You know, I was a walk on. He already had guys on scholarship, and I didn't really know exactly how things was going to go. So I went in and I, woke up with the team every day, and then you start getting into games, and I start noticing, hey, we playing these double headers, and I ain't playing.
Hmm.
Only a certain set of guys playing and a certain set of guys sitting. So I kind of was like kind of a little, aggravated, because I go into practice every day, walking, running, doing all this crazy stuff, and I ain't getting into the games. So, I went to one of the players and, one of the older guys, and I was like, what's up, man? I ain't. He's like, you gotta pick that up with coach, man. You gotta go right in. And that's one of the guys I look up to. And he was like, listen, man, just go in there and talk to him. And I went in and I was like, dude, coach, what's up, man? Like, I doing everything that you asked me to. I cut the weight. I doing, everything you asked me to. Why I'm not playing. And he said, well, George, I'm glad you came in here, because here's the deal. My plan was to redshirt you. And I was like, what? What does that mean? He was like, red shirt. You know what red shirt is, pal. When
Yeah,
you red shirt, you red
I
shirt.
don't
So
know.
his plan was to his plan was to red shirt me, which was, you not, my plans are not for you to be playing on the regular team in the spring, because you had your fall season and then your spring. Where is your regular season?
Yeah,
So when you start the school, say like in August or whatever, right? You have your fall baseball season, and that's when the coach will decide who's gonna be on the real team in the
yeah,
regular spring season. He didn't have no plans on me being on the team in the spring. So I was like, well, coach, like seriously, you won't. He was like, listen, I got a lot of guys on scholarship, and then a couple of the guys that are not, I already have placed them in. He said, if you want to leave and go to another school, you're not gonna have a problem from me. Everything gonna be cool. And I was like, no way. This is where I want to. I right where I want to be. So he said, well, you just gotta continue to keep the weight in, and you have to go. You have to convert to being a. You have to convert from third base, which was my home. That was my home. And he said, you're gonna have to convert into the outfield. But I had some experience in the outfield. I just never used to play there a lot.
Hmm.
And so I said, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So I went home over the break, and that's when I started training with Elmo Plastic. God bless his soul. I used to go with Elmo every day, 6 o'clock in the morning, run on the beach, go take fly balls. And when I come back from Christmas break, all I would take is fly balls every day in batting practice. Batting practice, fly ball, tracking balls, the whole nine. But I wasn't going to play. So I had to sit out that whole first year just practicing, no games. So then by the time I was done and I had finished that whole first season, before I leave for school, coach said, George, you know what? I got a scholarship for you coming back next year. So when I come back next year, I bring my boy with me. Terry will come in with me the next year. So Terry come up, and then, that was it.
Well,
And I earned my scholarship.
that'd be a good segue into Terry question. So now Terry in school. So his question is to ask you how are you met Cliff and Jeff?
I think we met them down at on the airport,
So
Miami.
Cliff come school the same time with Terry. Like he come up to the school the
Yeah,
same time with Terry.
the year Cliff and Jeff come the year when Terry come up.
So let
Because
me
the first year I was at school by myself.
What year was that? 99?
I
seven.
wa- I
97?
went I graduate from St. Joseph in 96 and went straight to school that fall 96, 96, 97. So when Terry come up, it was the fall of 97.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So while he talking Terry, I gonna ask you a question. Did you know Andrea Webster? If since you came school the next year, but I met them at the airport, and like how was that? Like how I just was sitting next to each other, like
You know, I think we picked them. I think we picked them up. I think I remember we picked them up and then we ride up to school.
when you said pick them up, how that work? Like I
It, I ride. I think we had a van or something. I think I remember Cliff them at the airport. That's why I remember, but maybe I might be mistaken. I get old.
mm. So Indian River School van used to come and pick her up when I come back from home.
Not for me, not really often because the first time I came up to school, my friend Jeff bring me up to college. I didn't have no
Mhm.
van that picked me up or anything like that. My friend didn't bring me up, but most of the time you come back up, we normally had a ride. 'Cause after I get accustomed to being at school, my partner Scott used to come down and pick us up.
Okay. Indian River is what, like a
When I
good
when I come
2.5 hour drive from Miami Airport.
from Miami, you take the pike maybe an hour 45 sometime I think.
Gotcha.
Around that.
Yeah, Jeff was the man when he was one of the man them at St. Croix playing ball. If that's the same Jeff Cliff brother, because I know he was up them
No,
sides
no,
too.
this dude the Jeff I know is from St. The Jeff we
Oh,
talking about
okay,
is from St. Thomas.
okay.
Yeah,
Because Cliff got brother named Jeff, so
he
that's
would
what I
do a
thought
lot
you
of
were
mu-
talking about.
he was doing a lot of music in St. Thomas, man.
Gotcha.
For a while, they were doing a lot of music with the artists and stuff.
Okay.
Uh, we had a question here. I'll get us in, Pang. Um, did Genix make you run a lot when you when you was with Genix? That question was asked.
If he used to make us run a lot,
Make you run a lot.
um, sometimes, yeah. There was times. I mean, when we were young, in our start, he used to make us run a lot. And there was a time when I think me and Terry was on the same team, and I kind of show myself a little bit. And Gene like, get the hell out the field if you don't like it. You don't like it, get the hell out the field, Billy. You don't like it, leave. But yeah, whenever you act the fool, he say you're running.
Uh,
Hey, I like when G Nix to make his appearance and all our interview them.
yeah.
He don't
Hey,
make it.
man, listen, man. Hey, that's a special guy, my son. And just like Rasan hit the nail on the head. When I go home to St. Croix, right, I don't make very few stops. Okay, certain stops I have to make. The first stop definitely to house. The second stop under the mango tree and grove. Go and check out my whole family because we right around that whole little spot right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If anything, I definitely stopping out by the ballpark, see the guy need baseball going on. Have to do that there. And then the other stop got to be to check Genix out. And I
Mm.
got to leave some room because we're gonna sit down and we're gonna chat. And we're gonna chat it up good. So if I can't catch it by the house, I can catch it by down if you deal with hostel, or I catch it by the baseball field.
Mm. So you still reside in Fort Myers? Well, in that
No,
area?
I live in Palm City. I live in Martin County. I live about 30 minutes from Palm Beach.
Okay, got.
Less, maybe less now because I live by the turnpike.
I hate turnpikes.
What's
I, you and Mumbai to see a lot of turnpikes in Orlando and in the
yeah?
area you there. Glad we get out
I
there
be
in
at the top
Jacksonville.
park all the time, son.
Yeah, because sometimes depending on where you're going, it's the easiest shot, man.
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
the easiest shot sometimes.
It's
Like
true.
when you're going down to Miami, that's the easiest shot. 95? Nah. Tom Pike. Bam, you're
Oh
there
yeah,
right there.
yeah. We're from '95, brother. What's your greatest accomplishment at IRCC, India River Community College?
I like right now, like I think I went by there about a year ago, and I have this I have the all-time batting record at Indian River.
Okay,
So
Mm.
wow.
it's a
Humble
it's
brag.
a it's a two years. I think it's you have to have played 2 years and you have to have a certain amount of at-bats, I think, to qualify. So I my last year there, which was I think it was I redshirted my first year. I think I was done in '99, and I went to visit my coach before I leave. He was like, "Hey George, you know what? Got some good news." I was like, "What's up?" And he was like, "You broke the all-time batting record." So um, I was like, "We mean like all-time? Like anybody that ever play here?" You're like, "Yep, that's what all-time means." So but the catch to that is that when I left Indian River, I never signed. I just went ahead to another school. Now we have a wall up at Indian River with all the guys that signed and ended up in the big leagues. From if you left Indian River, you signed and went to the big leagues. Your name there on the high part of the wall. And then down on the other part of the wall is just guys that sign out of school. They didn't make it to the pros. They didn't make it to the big leagues, but they signed and they played minors.
Mm.
And Terry down the wall. Terry down the wall. Guys that signed. Terry Byron down the wall. I ain't there on the wall because I never signed. So even though I got an all-time batting record at school, you can't make that wall unless you had signed when you left school. So
Mm.
that was definitely my greatest accomplishment at Indian River. My greatest accomplishment was being on the baseball field, was definitely being drafted. Being drafted by the Dodgers twice, and then getting the and I still got a record. That's the one I can hang my hat on because records are made to be broken. And I set the record in
That's pretty
'99,
awesome.
and records are gonna be broken somehow, and I still hanging on to it.
Wait. But I want to go back to the drafted part. You said drafted by the Dodgers for ML.
Yeah, out of high school.
By that's so that's Major League Baseball Dodgers you talking about?
Well, the organization, because
Okay.
just like how Terry was drafted by Baltimore out of high school, I was drafted by the Dodgers out of high school. So when I got drafted, I went to Indian River because I wasn't really a high round drafting because I had there had things that I had to I had all that extra weight, which they didn't like, big guys. I'm sorry, but you I guess I was the guy that was you know too big. I don't know really what it was. I wasn't a high round basically,
That's
and it
that's
could have
a
had something to do
that's
with my weight.
that's crazy that you got drafted out of high school. I didn't even say no. You got drafted out of high school.
Hey,
Yeah,
and I know you said by the Dodgers. I mean by the organization, but I gonna be like Tegan in this round. You you got to understand the dynamics behind that or the man that we on a small radius of Tree Island, out of all the places in the world. The Dodgers is looking at you. The organization is looking at
right.
you, so that says a lot about you.
Yeah. Well, I think I think I had, I think it's a lot of things, Pan, for me. I definitely think I was blessed because there was a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys before me that was really, really talented that didn't get drafted either.
Mm,
I they got a lot of guys to me from our island that I talking about St. Croix in general.
mhm.
They had tons of guys that was extremely talented. Okay, many players.
Yeah.
Many players that was extremely talented, and I can't say what it was that got me drafted, but I know for sure that whenever we went to a tournament I always perform. I ain't speaking about nobody else. I just speaking about my performance in any of the tournaments that we went to. I tried to make sure that my game was where it needed to be. You know,
Mhm.
so I don't know if that might have left that an impact on those guys, because even when I was up here in Florida, and I went to an RBI. It's called RBI. It's a thing called reviving baseball in the inner cities.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I was in Tampa, and there was a guy there, and I see the guy and I hear the voice, and I look around, and I was like, Eddie, and it turns out it was this guy Eddie Rodriguez, who was my scout out of St. Croix. And he
Mm.
was like, George Bailey, you still swinging the bat? So it was like, I don't know. I guess, maybe I had some people in my corner, Elmo Plaskett was, really, really good, was good friends with my father, so maybe I had some, people in my corner. I don't know. I just think I was really blessed along with a good skill set.
Bless up, Pico.
Yeah, yeah. Bless
Hey,
up, bless up. Hey, let me get to some of these questions in the chat because
wait. Before
yeah,
you go,
yeah.
I
No,
want to
yeah, yeah.
ask.
Go ahead.
I want to ask one question. So, you were drafted by the Dodgers in high school, and
Yeah.
I know Terry had a similar situation. So, both of you end up going Indian River. Like, what was the reason? Like, what else does it take after a team draft you? Like, what else does it take to make that team? And how did I end up at Indian River? Like, why the decision to go to Indian River, and what happened that you didn't get to go to the Dodgers?
Good
Well,
question.
I didn't sign I didn't sign on the dotted line to go professionally. I, I had signed something back then where it was like, you know, you sign in saying that Dodgers is the only team that have the rights to you to kind of come to, scout on you and stuff like that for the next year. That was something I don't think it was a good idea now looking at it, but I was locked in. That was my favorite team always. So I signed the paperwork. But what happened was I didn't sign to go play pro ball. I just,
Mm.
I was going to move on to college. So what they did was, for 3 weeks, I went down to Puerto Rico to play in a baseball tournament. And then after we was done in the baseball tournament, they sent me to Santo Domingo for 3 weeks to train with the organization. Even though I wasn't signed to
Okay.
the organization, they sent me down there to train down in Campo Las Palmas for 3 weeks with other young professionals that are trying to get out of the Dominican Republic. And when I came back from the Dominican Republic after 3 or 4 weeks, then a week or two later, I packed my bags and I went off to Indian River as a walk on. So really, all you had to do was Terry. Even same thing with Terry out of high school. If he wanted to go straight to play minor league ball, he was just going to sign, take whatever it was they was going to give him, and go. But instead, he went to Indian River like I did the year before,
Mm. So,
and
oh,
ended up being a blessing because when Terry, in my eyes, when Terry Byron went to Indian River, is when Terry Byron went from what you call a thrower to a pitcher. He
mm.
transformed into a whole nother person. Okay.
Yeah.
And that little story that they was talking about him throwing 97 in the ninth inning, that is no lie. I was there. So
That's big time. That is big time.
yeah. So
La-
yeah, you have
last
to sign the dotted line, Pam.
last question. Two. Well, I got two questions.
No, go
Why
ahead. Go ahead. You good?
you said you felt like you wasn't ready to sign the dotted line, is why you didn't sign the dotted line to
You know,
play to
I
go.
I was a I was a late rounder. I was a late rounder. I was like late. I was late in the rounds. I think it was like a late 50 something round. I wasn't a high round pick. So I was drafted, but I was not a very high round pick. So in my eyes, I wanted to go and just see if I could really fine tune my skills at the college level. Okay.
Okay.
Get better and then see if, hey, I was willing to take the chance and say, you know what? I'm gonna go to college. I know I'm going to become a better player at the college level because they're gonna be, pushing me at a level that I was never pushed at home.
Mm-hmm.
So in my eyes, I was like, when I go after Indian River, things are gonna end up, get becoming a better player, fine tuning my skills, and then I gonna get a chance to perform again. And I still have the Dodgers watching me, and possibly get scouted again. So it was a risk. It was a risk, but I was comfortable with my skill set. But
Mm-hmm.
then that's when that adversity, like I was telling you, kick in because that first year I didn't play. So
So
I
that's
didn't
the
play I didn't play that whole first year. All I did was walk out with the team and go to school.
and that's the year. That's the contract that you did sign. That
That
Dodgers is
that
gonna be the
that
only
the
team
Dodgers
to.
was going to be the only team that was going to. So they used to come. Some of those guys, one of the guys used to come and check me out at practice and stuff. But I think for the first couple times he came to see me, the guy didn't know who he was looking for. Because when I finally spoke to him, he said, "Man, they told me that you were some big. I was looking for some big fat, blubber." He was like, "You not what I thought you were." This was what the scout told me. He was looking for somebody, for something else. Because I switched
That's
scouts
crazy.
from Puerto Rico to the scout from Vero Beach.
Mm,
I got a Vero Beach scout, so my scout changed.
Yeah.
So my scout, the new scout, didn't really. He was like, "Man, I came here a couple of times, you know." So yeah, so the adversity had to kick in because some people would have probably said, "You know what? I sit on this whole year practicing with this triple team all year long, and I ain't even gonna play. I got someplace else." But
mm.
there wasn't no come. I going back home. My parents never let me come back home like that, and I wasn't no quitter. I wasn't gonna just quit like that until I prove myself. You
Hmm.
know.
Well,
So,
I think you answered my question, but I'm gonna still ask it anyway. I was going to ask, did you think switching from third base to outfield is why probably the Dodgers never circled back after you finish Indian River?
no, I,
Good
I don't I
question.
don't think so. I actually here's a funny. I don't know if I said this, but I got drafted out of high school. But the year that I did not play, I got drafted again. The year that I played, I got drafted again. But here's a tough. That's something that you got to live with because I got to live with the fact that okay, I got drafted a second time, but it wasn't. It definitely wasn't a better, much higher round because I never got to prove myself in the game.
Mm,
I never got to prove myself in a game situation. So it was like, yeah, we followed this guy up. He's doing all the things that he needed to do. He cut weight, different stuff like that. So I went a couple rounds earlier, but I still was not, you know, I wasn't pleased if to say. I felt that I could do, better. I think I had goals and dreams and stuff of becoming a higher rounder. I thought that I was a higher
Okay.
rounder than I was in.
hmm.
So I said, you know what? I read shut this year. When I get on the field, they're gonna see the real deal. You
Right.
know, and what I learned after the fact was that sometimes you pass up getting drafted too many times. It becomes like, when this guy gonna ever sign? Why we gonna waste a
Yeah.
pick on a guy that gonna never sign? So I think Pang may be the thing that might have got me in the spot was the fact that I passed up twice. I
Mm,
passed it up twice to continue going to school. So that could have been the reason. I don't think it was, the moving of positions. I think it was, I think it could have been more of the fact that, man, out of high school, this guy didn't sign. And then out of the first year of school, even when he didn't play, he didn't sign. What he waiting for? We might as well go and draft somebody else. That could have been it. I don't know. But,
and
that's just me.
that's a good point.
That's just me, trying to face the reality, of life.
Right. When
Did
when you
Go ahead. Go ahead.
when you said draft, is it like the NBA where you hear your name on TV? Like how
when
is
you
that
when you're
process, the
when you're
draft?
in the high rounds, when you're in the really really high rounds, the draft on TV, you can hear your name. When you're in the really really high rounds, when you're in those later rounds, they see, but baseball have way more rounds than basketball. If I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken, am I right? Right. Baseball used to go down to almost like 60 rounds.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know if before that it was more. I can't tell you for sure, but After a while, you ain't hearing your name on TV unless you like some high, like stud out of Vanderbilt or something like that, something crazy like
60
that. But
rounds? That's crazy. 60 rounds? Who's sitting around for 60 rounds are drafted? No,
but
sir.
but see what happens. What happens is that normally you just get a phone call. That's how I got mine. I didn't sit down like looking at a draft. They just gave me a phone call and just said, congratulations, you were drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers, blah 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 blah.
How was that feeling? Getting that phone
Hey,
call.
dude, hey, I was hyped, bro. I was hyped. I was on cloud nine. I went down by the ballpark there, later on the day, and a couple of people that had heard about it. I mean, it was the dream come true. Even though it wasn't
Right.
as high round as you dream. It was definitely the dream come true. So
Mm. See,
that
Um,
was the first step.
see, Mumbai, you didn't know he had get drafted by the Dodgers. No, you didn't even know that he had get drafted twice. That's
yeah,
crazy.
that is crazy. Who drafted you
Yeah,
the second time? Was it the Dodgers?
it was the Dodgers again because remember I signed that paperwork that
You know,
only allowed them to have the rights for kind of like I think it was like for a year's time because when I came back home there was a walkout at Polly Joseph and I think it was the Braves and the Indians or something was walking out a group of guys and I was not allowed to take part in that walkout because I was still under the contract that I signed with not you know releasing myself to other teams.
that's why it's kind of crazy because when a team draft you, they have your rights up until a week before the draft.
It was
That's
like
why,
that. That's
yeah, because
basically the same thing, Mamba.
yeah, because if a team draft you and you don't sign, you're still you. They still have your rights. They still have your rights, so they could still sign you before the following year
Exactly.
draft.
That's
That
basically what it was, Mamba.
that's why it's kind of weird that the Dodgers drafted you again when they already had your rights. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Right. They did it again and they went,
That's crazy.
I don't know, Mamba. It was I was not very familiar with the field, I mean that's why I think that when you have these guys that these young guys coming up back home, it needs to have somebody who is definitely looking out for their well-being.
Right.
Because I know like around here where I live, Terry's agent, I don't know if he ever said it to you guys, but Terry's agent is a good friend of mine. Terry's agent when he was playing in the pros.
Yeah.
Terry's agent is a good friend of mine, and Terry's agent is Russell Wilson's agent, the quarterback from the
What?
Seahawks.
What?
That's how small this world is.
Small
Terry's
world.
agent is
Man.
a good friend of mine. He lives very very close to not too far from my house.
Mm.
And we just Terry told me way back. I said, Terry, who's this guy? What's his name? Rogers, you remember him? And Terry was like, GB, what you talking about? That was my agent. Stick close to him. He's a good guy. You know his stuff. So, for those young guys back home that getting drafted, it's good to know somebody that know the ins and outs to be, you know, a good advocate for them, not just anybody, somebody who really gonna, be in the corner. Because if you don't have somebody giving you good, advice, if you don't really know, you might be making a mistake.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true because you got drafted out of high school and then you went to India River and then you redshirted. That's what's so crazy about your story is because usually a player that get drafted and they go on to JUCO, you will play, and that kind of. Oh,
right.
go ahead, Pan. You could jump in,
No,
Pan.
no, no, because I was thinking that the man I was like, okay, you get drafted and then you go on red shirt. Like I had to tell our coach, man, hey, look, no, but you can't be like that though,
Yeah,
but
But
because
Pan, I ain't gonna lie, Pan. I'll be honest with you. The thing about the thing. Hold on. So the thing about when
yeah,
you go, you know this. When you go out to school, right? Back home, you might have been a stud, and when you went out to school, you might run into a school with a whole bunch of studs or a whole bunch of guys that can really play the game. I know your
facts.
coach have to be like, Your coach have to be like, okay, is this guy, what we got? What are we gonna do? So my coach, I think what he did, because I have a lot of respect for that guy. That guy's a legend up here. Like really, teach me a lot of stuff. And in his eyes, redshirting me keeps me around for when another guy leave the next year, I get to stay. So looking at it from a coach's standpoint, he was like, George, if you want to leave, you could leave, but I would like you to stay.
Right.
Bam. So now I stick around, and for the next 2 years, I was a pain in everybody rear end, in the whole conference that we play in, for the next 2 years. And Miami-Dade had a chance to get me, you know, they didn't get in at Miami-Dade. I didn't get in. I actually missed the coach because I had to catch a Greyhound, but the coach remember me every year, every time we faced them. He was like, George Bailey, man, we messed up. We messed out on you. We messed out on you. So
Yeah.
I think my coach made a wise move.
It was
finding a way to keep me around.
It was a tricky. It's a tricky move what a lot of coaches do, because I ran into that situation as well too. Because you got drafted by the Dodgers. The Dodgers drafted you again, and I think the reason why the Dodgers drafted you again because they didn't want anybody else to take you. But what kind of mess you up is the fact that you was a draft and follow, and if you go into JUCO, and you put up numbers, then you have leverage over the Dodgers. Right. So now when it's time to negotiate, you actually have the control. No.
Yes.
That's what kind of mess you up. You was in the perfect position. But then since you got redshirted, it kind of hurt you. But then the coach know that I could redshirt this guy and then I have it for another 2 years while I have this tall base guy and he could finish up his season. So you was intertwined with a lot of crazy stuff that was going on.
I didn't really, as a youngster in college, I just looked at it like, you know what? Okay, he redshirted me. Ain't got nothing I could do about this except for beat the next guy out for a spot. Mm-hmm. So that was the whole deal. And Mama, you know a lot of names in baseball. Let me tell you a guy that I had. Luke Scott.
Luke Scott, yeah.
That played in the major leagues with
Orioles.
Yes.
Luke Scott. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yes, Luke Scott played, I think, with the Astros a little. Luke Scott played about 15 years in the big leagues. Luke Scott is a guy that I had to contend with in the outfield. I had to contend with Luke Scott. Up to this day, when a couple of times I take a couple of youngsters to a spring training game, and Luke Scott picked me up right away and was like, "Hey, fellas, you guys listening to that guy? Because that guy knows how to hit. He could teach you a few things." Like I had to contend with a lot of guys. Like Terry mentioned in his interview, a guy named Raja Vanderpool that used to play third base. Dude, remember, my glove wasn't even remotely close to that guy. And I'm going to be honest, I ain't going to lie, that man was a gloves man. There was no way I was going to put that man there on the bench for how great his defense was. Amazing defender. He couldn't hit like me, but man, he had an amazing glove. So it was like, gosh, I got to beat that guy out of, third base. So it was like in a situation when you think about Indian River, right? Indian River is not just the random JUCO. We, for a long time, was like the mecca of JUCO, in Florida for a long time. There was not many schools that could really contend with us. When you say Miami-Dade, definitely in the conversation. When you say Manatee, or Pasco Hernando or something like that, yeah. But most schools, if they know they had to face us, rough day. So there was a lot of guys I had to contend with that was, good ball players. So you had a good 2 seasons with India River, right? So you got drafted your red shirt year, and then you end up playing which would be your freshman season. Yeah, my freshman, the whole first year of me being in the River, fall season, spring season, I didn't do anything. And then the next year that I came back was when I walked up with the team in the fall. I made the team in the spring. I played that year, and then the next year around, I played again. So I played
How
two
did
seasons, and one season was red
how
shirt.
did that first how was that first season playing? Your first
The
official
first
season.
season was kind of like iffy because I used to DH a lot. I used to DH. I used to pinch hit. It wasn't always on the field. On the position, but it was a lot of coming off the bench and hitting, playing some left field every now. Yeah, yeah. So I was coming off the bench, every now and then. But I was the guy that I was the go-to guy when they're behind, and they need somebody to get it, to spark the plug, gas spark plug and get started, and
Wanna
then
I was gonna ask a question from Hayden Willis, but I think you don't touch on this. You named the two players that you had to go up against, but somebody Hayden Wills. Sorry, Hayden. Who was the toughest competition for your position?
in college.
Yeah, I he didn't
Yeah, it had to
he.
be. Yeah, it had to be when he was talking about the tour base.
Okay.
It was during
Yeah,
that time.
well,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. My freshman year, honestly, I think that the dude that was at third base, that when I get red shirt, I ain't gonna lie, I think I was better than him, but he was already a second year player. He
Mhm.
had already made, made the team, in I think they went to the College World Series or something the year before, the JUCO College World Series. I think he was on that team. I'm not sure, but he was there. I thought that I was a little better than him, but he was in the second year of having a good season the year before, so it was like, you kind of have to give him his due. Most coaches don't give that guy his due, because he
yeah,
performed the year before. So it's like, I ain't gonna boot that guy up and put in a freshman that ain't really prove himself.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's what a lot of coaches do because he knows the production he's gonna get out of this guy.
right? He don't
And then
really
he's
know
just
what
going
he's
to.
definitely going to get from you.
Yeah, he doesn't know,
So it
but
puts it tough.
he
Yeah,
no,
go
I
ahead,
was
Mumba.
no, I was just gonna say that he kind of have an idea just because he probably knows what you could give, just because he's seen what you're doing as far as working out with the team. But it's like he playing his cards the right way. You know what I'm saying? He know he'll get production out of that guy, so I'm gonna hold, and then I'm gonna save this guy for the next 2 years. So my production really is not gonna drop out than having him for 1 year while you're playing that 1 year, and then he's gonna only have you for one more year after he leaves. So you can look at it that way.
And what was a plus for me was that when I had we played like an inter squad game before he cut everybody. Before he picked the team, he already knew who he was picking. But it was basically like a game against the guys that gonna be on the regular team and the guys that he cut in.
Yeah,
And when we played our game, I went like 4 for 4 off of our own best pitchers. I had a great day. I had like two stolen bases, and that's still the deal for me as staying on as a red shot. He already had it planned, but I show him in game situation what I was capable of doing against our stud pitchers for the next year. So for sure right there that what he was getting from me. But
yeah,
then I think the reason why he wanted to converted me to the outfield also was that Mumba, you know me, I could run. I was a good runner, I had good speed. So, trapping me at third base was kind of in his eyes maybe, not the best place for me to be at when I could use my speed in the outfield.
yeah. Talking about speed, Terry asked a question earlier. What was your speed in the 60? Your best speed?
Um, Out of high school, I was like a 6'7" mostly, but my best 60 was a 6'5".
Damn, that's good for your
My
size.
my
That's
best
real good.
my best
It's
60 was a
fast.
6'5" number,
Oh,
so
okay. I gonna break that down.
okay, you gotta run 60 yards, right, Pang? You
Yeah.
get you get like you're stealing a base,
Hmm.
and get a time you're running 60 yards. And I run it. My fastest time was 6.5 seconds.
Ah,
Now
gotcha.
it's crazy, Pang, because up here where I live, I mean, up here where I live for a long time, wherever I went is like I don't go by my when I used to go by my partner, pizza parlor for just to grab some pizzas with friends. I walk in the door and they'd be like, "GB, how your legs feel?" And I'm like, "Oh God, man, come on, man, what? Yeah, we got somebody for you to race." So it was like in the area where I lived at, it was like at any given time somebody gonna come up for a foot race. And you know
Mm.
how we do back home. That was our thing. You gonna race at
Right,
you can in Grove. We used to race from sun up. We could race forever.
right.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
Barefoot and all.
that's one of the things. That's one of the things that I known for up here. Is running because I went out for a semi-pro. I went out for a semi-pro football team. I think I was about 24. Went out for a semi-pro football team, and they were laughing after me because a part of mine made a deal with the head coach. Hey, listen, if this guy run in the fours, you gotta give him the workout for free. It was like $100 for the workout. And the coach watched me and laughed and was like, if he run under a five, he don't even have to pay. Let's see what he do. So I get out there and I run the 40, and I run like a 4.7, right? And they were like, "What?" And I got on baseball shoes, pan. I got on baseball cleats, football cleats, and baseball cleats, anything. I come out there with some red baseball cleats, and they were like, "What? Where is man going with these?" I ain't even start in the combine start or nothing. I like stealing a base, and everybody laughing. And I rope off a 4.7 and a 4.6.
Jeez.
Now
Mm-mm.
my fastest 40 my fastest 40 was a 4.5 at 280.
That's fast, listen.
Man, that is fast. Though.
Jeez.
I know a little bit about running, so that is fast.
Yeah,
I
that's
do got
fast.
I do got a funny story about what you just said about baseball cleats versus football cleats. I remember my son first year in playing football. My son, yeah, I think he was doing TV at the time, and I excited. So I want to buy here all the freshest stuff, my son. Buy here, buy here all kind of football stuff, cleats, everything. Bam, he got practice. My son after practice in the huddle. One of the coaches said, who's the dad for Shamar Hodge? And I said, me. Proud. He was like, you're gonna have to buy him some new cleats. These are baseball cleats. Cause they had they had the little iron on the little metal like I
The
didn't know they
metal,
were
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah I
yeah,
didn't know.
yeah.
But come to think of it, when I look at the shoes, how about they got a man swinging on the shoes?
Oh, you got Ken Griffey's. You probably got
Man,
Griffey's.
I
Griffey's,
ain't
yeah,
even
You got
probably.
Griffey's.
I ain't even
You might have
noticed that, my
Griffey's.
son. I ain't even noticed that. I was just so glad to
They
go
were
to
fresh. That's why you
right,
getting some
right.
fresh kicks.
Man, I got to Ross and look for some cleats, my son, and I buy the best thing I saw out there, my son, and not knowing the heck is baseball cleats.
Yeah, man.
Oh man,
Uh,
that's funny, my son. That's funny.
what my sister had a question, but I don't know. I guess
Oh,
it's
she talk about average, batting
okay.
average. Yeah,
That was I wasn't sure about the word, but okay.
yeah.
So she wanted to know what was your best score. So Mumba break it down to batting average. What was your best batting average score?
Yeah, my all time the record that I have is 440. 440. I
Jeez.
hit 440 on all time. And per season, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was four something that first year that I played, and then four something, and they calculate all of that. But the total out to be 440 all time.
Man,
Man,
jeez.
that was good because we were talking about batting average the other day. Who we were talking to at the time?
Um, jeez, man. Was Richie.
Okay, and we were
Yeah.
talking about batting average, and with his batting average was better than most in ever.
Yeah, when he was in high school, yeah,
Right,
he had that top batting average in the state. I think it was Georgia. He said, yeah. So
man.
GB, you had a question, Pang?
No, no, go ahead.
So GB, so finishing out your years at Indian River, having the all-time record in the batting average, did you so you didn't get drafted or anything?
After that, no. honestly, basically, it was just I just playing ball. Like I was chasing to get drafted again, but I didn't know exactly how cards were going to play out after that. You know, it just wasn't. I just didn't really know what was going on. I passed. I did everything I was supposed to do, but like I said, I think things kind of shifted after the second time.
Hmm.
Okay. Terry,
No.
And
Terry,
after
Terry.
after
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
after I was done at Indian River, I transferred to Palm Beach Atlantic.
Looking
So I kind
looking
of
back,
downscaled.
looking back, and knowing that the opportunities that you had and the decisions that you made at the time, would you have done anything different? I know you can't change what happened or whatever. No
Right.
regrets.
And you know what? I like that question, Pan. I like that question because I grew up, I was always taught by my mother, you know what, listen, things to play out the way they play out in life for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
In terms of knowledge of that decision, probably would have definitely signed the second time around, knowing that probably was the thing that probably impacted me getting drafted again. Because two
Right.
times not signing, you know, the first
Yeah.
time out of high school from the Virgin Islands, there was no doubt I wasn't going to sign because I felt like I could have fine tuned a lot more of my abilities.
Hmm.
But definitely, in terms of signing the second time, I think I probably, if the cause was, because it's a blessing to get signed.
Right.
It's a blessing. I mean, it's a blessing to get drafted because they got people all over the country playing this game, and you get a chance, and you pass it up because of dreams that you had or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I get to do some things with my life because I did not play ball that I probably wouldn't have been doing if I was playing ball, and I love those things. So you know,
Kerry Ann Shepherd asked a question, which was locking in my head too. Um, did you ever get any opportunity to play professionally again? And did you play for any professional team?
no, I did not play professionally. After that, I did walkouts. Like I walk out with professional teams. Like I did the Reds, I did the Padres, I did a lot of workouts. Cause back then they used to have like major league teams. They used to hold workouts. I don't really know if they
Yeah.
do that anymore, but the big league teams used to hold workouts. Guys come walk out, and if they find a guy trying 95 and they didn't know about him, they scoop him up. But
Yeah.
I did those walkouts, and things didn't really, they didn't never really pick guys from those walkouts much unless you was something super special, unless you was something extremely special, like really rare. But
Yeah.
after that, I just, I transferred from Palm Beach, and then I went to Bethune Cookman, and then after that, I work out for the Red Sox, and my final workout for the Red Sox was just, was one of my best workouts, but I guess I was in the diamond they were looking for.
Mm. So how was baseball at Botun? Like I know you say I beat up on EWC, which don't let
Hey,
nobody ever hear you say that again. But um, how was baseball there at Botun?
the you know what baseball was the competition. Let me tell you about the competition at Indian River. At Bethune. Melendez, who was Momba coach as well. Melendez used to schedule extremely tough games. You know, Melendez used to schedule extremely tough games. So you're talking about you have to play school like we played like FIU. We played um, what's the other school? We played FIU. We played
FAU.
FAU. We played yes. We played
Do you guys play Miami too?
no. We didn't play Miami in the
You guys
regular
didn't play
season.
Miami that year?
That was more like that was we didn't play Miami in the regular season, but we did play JU. We played
What about UNF?
uh, we played UCF.
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 And the
Okay.
year that we played, the year that we played UCF, they had two guys that were number. They drafted two guys that were number one picks, and one of those guys is the head coach at Eastern College in Brevard.
Hmm.
You guys play USF too?
Yeah, I think he said that.
No,
Oh,
no, we play
oh, okay.
UCF. We play UCF, FIU, FAU,
Stetson,
uh,
Stetson.
Stetson, Stetson. Yeah,
What about Mercer?
no.
What
Most of
about
our school was only mostly schools in Florida, and the only time we only ever went out of state to play was when we had to play MEAC teams like Norfolk State and North Carolina A&T and stuff like that.
what about Emory Riddles? How you play Emory Riddles?
Yeah, the Emory Riddle right around the corner from Bethune.
Bethune. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
We used to play Emory Riddles EWC.
And
Oh,
Emory Riddle had
okay.
some good. They had some. When I was there, they had two really like pesky left-handed pitchers, like annoying.
Mm.
But them jokers will nibble Mumba. Mumba, they nibble around the corner all day. They ain't trying to
All
hit,
day.
but they just pecking away left, right,
Yeah.
outside, inside all day.
Little mini Greg Maddox.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
So one thing I hear bits and bits of. I guess from you talk a lot about pitching, you talk about third base, and you talk about outfield. But it seems like you was a good hitter, and I don't think you even like stopped to humbly brag about your hitting.
Well, that was my bread and butter. My bread and butter was always my father. My father always used to tell me, he was like, "Man, when you go and play in the yard, stop picking up a glove. Who to go and play ball and go? I'm gonna be the first to pitch." That's what my father used to tell me. You like pick up the bat, go and get a bat, be the first to hit. Because if you could hit, they will find a place for you to play.
Right.
That's true.
They will find a place. If you could swing the stick, they don't want a man that could really hit on the bench. They want a man that could drive in runs playing, that could get on base playing. So I kind of start making it a point to where, hitting is, I felt I always had a good knack for hitting, but, I think hitting is my bread and butter, running, and then, I think I had a good bit of tools, but definitely hitting and running.
So was it just us that wasn't asking the right question? Why is up until now you talking about the hitting?
Well, yeah, as a humble guy,
I see, man.
I think everybody that watching that know anything about GB know that GB could hit. Like, and most of them know that, hey, that's the 5'6" big man. That's what I hear. The 5'6" big man I ever seen.
And
But
I
I would definitely, you
No,
know,
go ahead, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
hitting. I love to hit. I love talking, hitting. I love like just getting the insight of different approaches that people take because everybody has nowadays like if you get caught up, you go on Instagram and all these different places, everybody have some new terminology of
Yeah.
of hitting and technique and all this different stuff. And yes, a lot of it does come into play, but if you can't see it, you can't hit it.
Mm.
That's
If you don't
true.
have good hand-eye coordination, you can't hit. So you can have all these different techniques and approaches, but if you can't, if you don't have good hand-eye coordination and be able to line it up, you're not going to be successful. I think I had a natural ability to do that.
Hmm. That's good, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the 468 came in. That number came in. That was your batting average, your best batting
Yeah,
average,
yeah, 440. Yeah,
440.
yeah,
Mm.
440. Yeah,
Where
I hit my competition level also kind of sometimes dictated, the performance. If it was better pitching, I perform, I hit better.
what year was that? With your best, with your 440? Where
The 440 was combined, but both years calculating that was just, was right around the same area.
Yeah.
But combined,
I think Terry said you hit 468 your second year or his second year.
it probably was something like that, but calculating both years, it became like a 440.
440.
Yeah.
how, how many games you played against, you bat against Terry? Like how much time you bat against Terry, and what's your best time against he?
Um, I didn't really hit much against Terry, and maybe a couple of times in Manly. I think a couple of times in my league and once in batting practice at Indian River. And then in the yard, like every day, all day, by the time we were young.
Mm.
Like I gonna tell you something right now. Like I said, that's my brother. I ain't gonna lie. That's my brother. Like we've been there with each other from like, you know, man, every day. When Terry said every day, Pam, when
Every
Terry
day.
tell you every day, like every day we ain't really, maybe in the summer we play a little Nintendo, but every day we get home. My aunt used to make me do my homework, of course, fly through the homework and then go on my Terry them, you know. But every day we used to play ball. You talking about Terry them yard so big, right? You'd hit the ball when you playing two man. Sometimes Maurice used to play with me, but when you playing two man, you hit the ball down to the fence. The pitch, I gotta run down to the fence, grab the ball. Terry run into the base. I gotta grab the ball, run it back down, and try and beat me on the way home. And you doing that over. If you can't catch it, you gotta throw the ball up in the air, throw the ball up in the air, throw the ball up in the air. And if he think he could take off, he take off. And he got this. How we used to play every day. And if Maurice did it, now we playing strikeout. We playing strikeout, one catching, one pitching, one batting, and we just rotate
You know,
every.
I could remember that, like playing baseball when you don't have like a even team, or you don't have enough, and let's say all players there on the base, and now the fielders got to throw the ball back and forth
So
so they
you
could
Yeah,
try
got
and
yeah,
yeah.
steal. Oh man, that didn't bring
Hey,
back memories, man.
listen.
yeah.
Let me tell you something. When we used to be in Polly Joseph, my father used to cuss me out. 'Cause my father used to be like, "You ain't watching the game. You ain't watching the game. What happened? This? What happened that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I used to watch a little bit." But the whole time we were playing baseball with a Freco cup. We used to go by the Freco, man. Everybody buying Freco all night. You just pick up a couple of Freco cup, crush them up, stuff them in another Freco cup, and then you play hand baseball.
Mm-hmm. Gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's amazing that where you guys came from and to play college together. That's pretty amazing and awesome. You know,
Hey. Listen, let me tell you, my coach try and pull my coach try and pull a slick one on Terry because I tell you, I said, listen, I got a cousin that you got to get this guy right. So Terry end up coming up and walking out, and Terry dealing the whole walkout and all. My coach try and pull a slick one like, well, let me see, I think this is how it went. And Tariq verify. Let me see. Maybe. Let me see if I have anything scholarships left or whatever. And Terry and Maurice and Uncle Glenn were like, "Well, we're gonna just go and work out for Santa Fe." And my coach was like, "No, nah, we're gonna give a scholarship."
Right.
And yeah, because the thing is that Terry could have deal. That's the one thing I can say with Terry is when it come to like when we was in them game situations and our coach gonna ask who gonna be the guy to pick this game. And I like, hey coach, hey, Terry's the guy for this game, okay? That's it. You ain't got nobody with enough heart on this team to pitch in that game against them. So I definitely that's my brother, my son.
Good man, that's good. Good, that's awesome that how you end up there. It feels a lot better when you're in college with people like like I went
that's true.
college and I had Tegan across the river, like across the bridge. But in my school, I had Sport at one point. I had Flight, I had Frenchie, which me and Frenchie been there from day one. And then I had another partner from Tatola that we met when we came there. But still, we were just like a little family. And like how you link up with Cliff and another partner named Jeff. It's nothing like that, man. And then Terry came on the next year. It's nothing like that.
Yeah,
Like,
it'll keep
Yeah,
it'll keep
it's
you
true.
grounded because you have things in common.
right.
A lot of people, when they hear we talk or stuff like that, they'll be like, because normally, you got around, you're fresh out the same crowd, your accent stronger than ever, and you're talking to them man in the States, and they don't really, they understand a little bit, but they don't understand much. And then you flip it to kind of clarify a little bit, But then when Terry come on the scene with me, it was like bam, 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 and everybody like, wow, yeah, okay, whatever I just said.
It helped so much, right? That you could just it felt good that I could continue talking my accent all day. To come to one of my college teammates is end up being my roommate. If I bring this man around I right now, I won't know he from Babylon. I
For real.
guarantee it.
That's crazy.
I don't think Frenchie in the chat anymore, but Frenchie could attest to this. I could bring this man around Ayo, and I would not know he from Babylon. And I could even ask him where he from. He gonna respond jokingly. He gonna respond like I from Strawberry or I from Laredo.
Ah,
But you will not know when this man like when we were in school and so and this man meet girl and so this man ain't yanking and the
Man
girl
talking
then
Crucian.
I telling you the girl then love this man accent. Oh, you're from the island. Oh my god, look you see how he sounds and enough girl this man pulling off of the accent, yo. This man don't listen to rap no more. He don't listen. When I had Betty, like Buju was his favorite artist already. Like
right.
right. So he just convert this man to listen to Sizzler, this man anything reggae, and he know word for word in the
For
song.
what? Yeah, man. I teach. I
Hey,
trade good, man.
and
Yeah, man, treat me good for real.
that's just from hanging around us. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
Oh no, no, that's
this
my partner. My partner. I got a partner. My best friend, man. This dude, Scott Jones. Terry know about Scott Jones, my son. And Scott, every time Scott call me or I call you, be like, "Welcome them girl, them sugar." Like honestly, like I ain't
Ah,
gonna lie, like this dude rolled me and Terry and Scott like still tight, still tight. Don't really see each other at all, but like when I got married 2 3 years ago, that was my best man. So we link up and hey,
okay.
it wasn't like we ain't miss a beat.
beat right.
We ain't miss a beat. Cliff and Jeff know about Scott. That's a part of the VI wrecking crew, my son. When
I
we used to link up, that was it.
I don't see. I mean, I don't talk proper and so around certain people when I do to walk and so, but I don't
Right.
see why anybody would want to lose their VA accent. Listen, it's the crispest accent in the world.
That's
Not
true,
Listen,
brother.
Jamaica, not
hey,
St. Kitts, Antigua, none of them.
You're right. You're right.
Guatemala accent is the sickest accent in the world. No
You're
Africa,
right,
no
brother.
no Europe, no nothing.
Nothing.
hey, I've been
That's
up
true.
here for so long, right? Like, I don't know I don't know. I think I had a knack for just like switching it up. And I never really had a lot of people from home around me. You check? I
Right.
think it have a big bearing on like who they are around you. Because if you have a lot of people from home around you, you always there in accent mode. To me.
Great.
I mean, to me. But
Facts.
even up to this day, like somebody said to me, I went on this job, and they're like, "Where you from?" And I was like, "They're from St. Croix, man, from St. Croix," and they were like, "Ah, man, I knew you had an accent." And I wasn't even in full blow, cruiser accent, you know.
Mm.
I was just,
Yeah, but I can
I
still
was
hear
an,
it.
I was an Americanized, I was in my Americanized clean accent, you know.
But you can't, like you can't really hide it. You know what I mean? Like people
Can't
observe
hide
Yeah,
it.
it.
Like
yeah,
I
you
don't talk,
can't.
I don't talk on the
You know,
phone at my job, and somebody that always pick me out, and I could always pick out somebody from Rock or
oh,
St. Pat
definitely.
or from Cruise,
Yeah,
whether they're trying to hide it or not. Just certain words, you just can't hide it.
you can't hide
Right,
it. Yeah,
right,
that's
right,
true.
right.
Yeah, you can't hide it.
Fam, they'll get me. They'll be like, "Man, where are you from, dude? You're from. I can tell you're from somewhere in the islands, man. Islands." I said, God. But mine to stick out the most when I get mad.
They come
When I
out.
get mad, no, no, many a times, I don't start to square out with a couple people, and I do that to kick your mom. Yeah. Like, so, and then they're like, "Oh, shoot, GB's mad." Oh my God,
you know,
GB's mad.
you
Somebody
know
hit him.
what's
We
up?
don't understand what he's saying.
You want to hear of like a funny story? I ain't gonna call a girl name, but one of my partner them used to deal with a girl from the VI. He's a Yankee, and we got other Yankee partners that hang around. And when she would go to arguing, like with he everybody else here, this way the girl speaking a different language because she is going so fast, and everybody's
Fast.
like. So now that was the mimic. Like these man used to sit around just to hear she argue, so they could try and mimic. So everybody used to be walking around. So that's like these is Yankee, you know. They might just walking around saying your mother's and just all you hear is only thing you could hear is the man M skunt or like the cuss word and so they do like
Right.
mother skunt the man you want like that's how they used to teach him son. It was the funniest thing, yo. But it just it's different, man. It just nothing like it. Nothing like it.
We got the
Right.
best, man.
Definitely.
We got the best for real.
So is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about when you came on here? Anything you want to share? Any
Yeah, you know what? I've been watching some of the videos, and first of all, I ain't even get a chance to lie, but I'm a big fan. I saying I'm a big fan of the show. As a matter of fact, I even talked to a couple of guys around here because like where I'm from, where I'm living at, I got a little area around here that is a big inner city area, pretty much just like living on an island.
hmm
And I have a partner that pretty much do the same thing that you guys would do, but it's just most likely like more like posting videos and stuff like that. But
hmm
he's like a local guy that's been around, sports and been around the area. And I was like, I said my partner to do this little show, kind of just, a little podcast, just giving a shout out to the legends back in the island and just kind of letting them tell their story and stuff. And I was like, as a big fan, I think you should maybe consider trying something like that because what they're doing is amazing. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Like,
Yeah.
I've been away from home for a long time. So I kind of like I know people don't remember me, but I know a lot of people. When I went home for my father's funeral, God bless him, a lot of people didn't even really even know my father had a son. Like they know
Wow.
my
That's
sister.
crazy.
A lot of people never really, like some people really knew my sisters, but they never really saw me. I mean, they probably knew of me, but they didn't never really saw me. A lot of times, you don't see a person, kind of out of the picture, kind of like, but like really, like I suggested your program to somebody else, man, because I think it's a big deal. I definitely, for a long time, deep in my heart, I've been saying, how can I, what can I do to, help revive baseball in St. Croix? And the reason why I say St. Croix is because that's where I'm from. I am from St. Thomas. I love St.
Right.
Thomas. I love the islands, but I have to speak for St. Croix because, that's where my roots come from. You
Yeah.
know,
hmm
St. Thomas already doing good. You know, you hear about those guys' names all the time. Guys coming out of St. Thomas. I just keep telling myself, I surrounded with, some. I have spoken to a lot of guys around here and say, you know what, hey, if I could set up something in the islands, would you guys be willing to come down and, help run a camp, different stuff? Because I think sometimes new faces could help deliver information, even if it's just a camp. It's not ain't like those guys. Just to get some faces out there, give some information. Um,
Right.
just something, to keep things going. Because I know they got guys down there doing it, back home doing their best. But I believe that from doing baseball here in Martin County, I actually started. I was blessed to, give the reins to start a program in this place called East Stewart. Right, it's in the area is called Stewart, but in the neighborhood they call it East Stewart. So mostly, black and Hispanics. And I start a baseball team. Remember, like I tell you, I used to work at the recreation department.
Yeah.
And I start a baseball team with kids right out of the Boys and Girls Club. And the city us, okay, yeah, I can teach you how to hit, you're gonna be good on the team. And I formulate a team, me and two of my partners. And we formulate a team and they had a local league that allowed us to play, in the league. The deal was like, we put together the kids from the inner city playing ball, put them in the league. And I ain't gonna lie, the first year it was like, oh, they're so cute. Look at the little boys. And I ain't gonna lie, a year or two later, we win a championship. And after that, it was like, you know, two girls fast pitch. Gina, Gina's teach me how to pitch fast pitch. So I put together two girls fast pitch team because the girls were like, shoot,
Wow.
why them man got a team and we ain't got one? So I
Right.
put together a
Yeah.
girls fast pitch team. Before you know, we had two. Before you know it, we had a team in every division. So I definitely, want to definitely say anytime I get wind of trying and do something back home, I want to try to, definitely be a part because I don't really know exactly, you know, where baseball is at. I hear some things that sometimes I don't like, but I know like Kenny, I think McKeel and BB them doing stuff. But the
Yeah.
truth is I believe it's the grassroots, man. We gotta start plucking them from young again, like really really young, and grooming them. They could play other sports if they want to, but grooming them for this game because that was our sport.
Right.
Everybody, you had guys that still played basketball and other sports, but baseball was, you know, the one that I know and the one that I love. So I want to try to find out a way to kind of put a spark back in it.
And that's what we are hoping for. If the hours, it's a little cliche, but it's the facts. It takes a village to raise a child. So if we all could
Yeah.
get involved somehow, so, even we don't even have to be home to make things happen. We could
Right,
use our contacts up here to maybe
right,
get a coach from up here to go home and help perform a camp, or if we could come home sometimes and participate in camps, and if you ever had an opportunity to spend a summer home, if you could be a volunteer to be assistant coach on a local team, like anything will just help. One of the big things that I just feel like we gotta get more parents involved,
right.
for pushing for the kids to play a sport, pick up a sport or some type of activity, because we got too many kids with idle times, and you know what all happen for idle times, just probably
Definitely.
nothing good to come out of idle time.
Yeah.
So like anywhere you could play a part, I know it'll be much appreciated. Any idea that you have,
I
you
got,
know.
hey, Pang, Pang, listen, the guy you're looking at is a guy that just constantly always like my brain always walking on how I know whoever watching, whoever listening, anybody want to try to get his son involved into I know the head coach at Palm Beach State. I know the head coach at Daytona State. I know the coach at in the River a little bit. I know the coach at FIU. I know the coach at Alabama State. I know a lot of the coaches, and if I don't know them, I know guys that know them. So it's just one of those things where a phone call, a text message. We talk about it and try to figure out. They ain't got no guarantees because I don't know who they'll pick, but I can introduce, the situation. I even have some friends that if I talk to and say, hey, I want to send a care package to St. Croix, you know, I want to send a care package with a couple of gloves, some cleats, some bats, something like that. You know, I am sure that I could get that done. Don't know how much. Might be a lot, might be a little bit, but I know, the kind of relationships that I've built up here. I think I could be, definitely, a good, impact. So basically, anything, anybody doing, any ideas, because I definitely have done a little program around here that, I know how to kind of help get it started up because what I have witnessed here in in the inner city where I'm at is the same things that I know that's going on back home. The kids get too much idle time. They get involved in stuff they ain't got no business being when they should have been on the bar park practicing or
Right.
playing on a game.
Well, what we will do from this interview is we're gonna get you in touch with our pad mate who is missing tonight. He walk in parks and recreation, and he get his ears to the street and his feet on the ground running down there. So he is will be a good asset to link you with, if because he always know of things that's going on, and he is pushing the envelope and a few different things. So definitely we gotta get you link up with Tegan.
Yeah, definitely. The once the COVID and stuff, slow down, once everything, hopefully eventually whenever it gets back to normal, that's something we would like to do. Do something for the youth them back home, baseball, basketball, just hold a camp, and give back to the youth them. Like you said, like a care package and stuff like that. I have some connect myself through from baseball and stuff and everything. But we just waited for the COVID to calm down and stuff. Like
Right.
myself, Tegan Pang, and previous guests that we have had on and the episodes as well have shown some interest in giving back as well. So once everything goes back to normal, we are going to talk, we are going to get together, or we'll try to set something up. Like you said, even if we can't make it on the island physically, we could send something as well. So that's the goal, that's the plan. So like you touched on GB and same as Pang, what you guys touched on, that's something we definitely gonna be working on. you know that's the good thing about having this podcast, is the fact that we get to meet so many different people and we get to learn
Right.
about them and stuff. We could build a good relationship, and then we have everybody who be watching us stuff as well too. Once we all get together and we scratch each other's back, some good things will happen. You know, Something you said that's important is that a lot of coaches, like you said. So it's kind of the kids that have kind of an outlet. They have an opportunity to get some places, to make something happen for them. So hopefully, if anybody listening, you guys could get in contact with GB, you know,
Yeah.
and
Cause
that's it's a great opportunity.
Makila and BB reach out to me. I told those guys anytime, let me know. I can, start doing a little, homework, maybe talking to the a couple of those coaches, and see what they're looking for, because everybody always looking ahead. So it's a good chance to get ahead of the game and trying to. Because when you coming out that when you coming out of St. Croix, like you said, when you coming out of St. Croix, like up here, we spread out all over the place. We got ball players that don't play everywhere. You know,
Hmm.
different sports. We did all over the place. You know, and majority of the guys that did come from home, everybody have performed. So perform some. They know they gained something good.
Right. So before we close, we always like to ask you, this is the fun part of the show. Want you to name your five favorite players from Major League. Your favorite players. Normally, we will break it down between you do five from St. Croix, five from St. Thomas, if you can. If you can't, you could combine them.
Okay.
And if you
Okay.
five female softball or baseball players, whatever they do in that you could think of from the
Okay.
VI.
I'm gonna start with the big leagues. You said major leagues, right?
Right.
I'll start with major leagues. Everybody know GB is a Barry Bonds fan, big time. Barry Bonds, my guy. Definitely Barry Bonds. Um, I'd say number two. Like we talking favorites.
Yeah,
Right.
your
My
favorite.
favorite
Yeah.
was
Your
my favorite. So
favorites.
my favorite was definitely Barry Bonds. Um, I say second was I say Griffey, because I used to like Griffey too. Um, third would be I got the sticky in there. He gonna harass me, but Midre Midre is my dude, man. I got Midre grew up right across the bush from me. I got the sticky in there.
Right.
I would say Brett Butler. They gonna laugh
Okay.
after me. They gonna laugh after me,
Brett
but
Butland. Wow.
Butler,
Who is
Nice.
Brett? Who is Brett Butler and what team he played for? I never heard that name
Brett,
before.
Brett Butler was this lead off hitter for the Dodgers, and like
Dodgers.
when I was young, and he was just like a little white dude that just used to get on base like all the time, steal bases, had a lot of speed, you know. And if anything, you know what? I would have to. I go bump Griffey down. I gonna bump Griffey down to third. I gonna bump Midre down to fourth, and Butler to fifth. And I gonna put Tony Gwynn. God bless him. Tony Gwynn was how I crafted a lot of my hitting. For a
Okay.
big Tony Gwynn, huge Tony Gwynn fan. A lot of my, approach to the plate, was Tony Gwynn all day. Terry gonna laugh because Terry probably laughing now when I said Tony Gwynn and Brett Butler because, when we named players on Baseball Stars, it was, Tony Gwynn, Brett Butler all day. So, home players from home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I used to love watching Sean Nolan growing up. Sean Nolan was like watching he up and seeing a league when I was still in the league. Like that guy used to blow my mind. Really, I used to love watching Sean Nolan. I would say, and I can just cut him out because this ain't and they're definitely the best order because they got so many people that impact me home. It's just so many. Um, Dito, Dito definitely hit from both sides of the plate like me. Switch
Yeah.
hit just like me. Learn a lot of stuff from him. Uh, I would say, believe it or not, freaking JD. JD used to do this weird thing with his hitting with his hands, like moving them back and forth. I used the same thing when I was in college. It was
Mm-hmm.
weird. JD had some stuff that I learned a lot, from JD. Let me see. Um, and you know what? On any given day, this list might change, but um, Dennis Bro, Dingo, like not even just from on the field, but like positive vibes from that guy all the time, like every time. Anytime you want to come to
Yeah.
Vikings, DB, the door is open.
Now,
um,
is this his big bro or young bro? You said
uh,
Dennis bro, right?
yeah, the Dennis Bro, he used to do the Haslam. I think he was in charge of like the racetrack or something at one point in time. He played with Vikings, big dingo. He used to play with Vikings all the time. And let me see, who was my final? Um, you know, I got to say my father, Mister, because my father. If I didn't watch my father play ball when I was younger, like if I didn't watch my father play ball, who knows if I'd have been a baseball player? You know what I'm saying? Because just watching my father on the softball field, the stories, the stories that all my father friends used to tell me about him playing first base, playing outfield, speed. I watched my father learn a lot about pitching in the softball league and stuff. Everything about me. You know, definitely. I didn't get to watch my father play a lot of baseball, because by that time it was like more my father was playing a lot of softball and stuff like that. But definitely, um, okay, girls fast pitch, I say. Oh,
Anything.
girls softball.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
What's her name? They got Yolanda. I think it was Yolanda. Steven, was it Yolanda? One of the girls that used to play with Genix, Mumba. Yolanda was a beast.
Yeah, I know it. I know. I heard. I remember the name. I can't remember the face, but I know you're talking about.
Yolanda, I would say Yolanda. They had a girl that used to play with Genix. Cause Genix used to bring a lot of his older girls that play softball to play against us in the league.
Mm.
So they used to come
Okay.
pitch fast pitch against us when we were playing to work on our bat speed and all kind of crazy stuff like that. The wizard, that man is a wizard.
Yeah.
Jennifer, Jennifer, I think the still coach with Genix. Jennifer
Yeah.
used to
Jennifer.
pitch
Yep.
against us all the time. You know,
What her
these are the
last name
names
is?
that I remember. I
Is it
can't remember.
Jennifer Brady? Brady's her last name.
I can't. Don't get me wrong. She always with Genix.
Yeah.
Coaching with
I think her
Genix,
last name is
helping out.
Brady.
Um, um, in terms of women, I can't. It don't ring a bell that great. But I remember you had a girl.
Dito's
One of the.
sister.
Huh?
Vito's sister.
Well, I gonna tell you, you know who used to, who are really good, but I didn't really get to see them when they got a little older was Latima. She was good when I was
Yeah,
young. When we were younger, I remember her with Harley in Grove,
yeah,
and I was like, she gonna be nice. She gonna be a baller.
yeah. She could have played. She was good.
Yeah. And then they had this other lefty that used to play with Genius, but I didn't remember the names, so clearly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Brady's okay. So Jennifer last name is Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brady.
So that's 4 girls you called so far.
Um, Five. Number five. Number five.
Sherry Simmons.
You know what? I gonna go back to when I was in the league. That a girl I used to play with. What they used to call her. Edna Smith.
Edna Smith.
When I was in the, I forget what her name is. I forget what. If I don't know if that was her real name. I don't know if that was
Mm-hmm.
if it was shot. It was shot. Edna. I don't know for sure, but I know Kareem Smith had mentioned her name on one of the shows. She went.
On that
Hey,
show.
hey, when we was in the league, she used to play with I think Braves, Miss Anna. Hey, she used to throw heat. Mama, at first I was like, man, this girl bringing some heat, man. Like for real, she was one of the only girls that we, used to face. She used to throw gas, Miss Anna, for real. So I don't just go with that as number five.
Okay, so that's your five. Nice, nice. Good
Yeah, that's
squad. Good squad.
yeah, that's a
But
good
I gonna
list.
chuck in uh, um one for home players. Listen, I can tell you right now, Terry Byron. Okay, Terry Byron do some stuff in college that you have to see it for yourself.
Hmm.
Okay, Terry strike these man up with one of them slide on like do a seatbelt buckle like put on your seatbelt. Hey,
For
but
real?
but I mean, hey, Terry, Terry was a classic. When we was in school, definitely. When you see a person try to slide on mom and somebody swing on the ball, hit you in the leg, like if you're a lefty and then
Yeah.
right time that's how you a slider and you swing and it hit you in your leg,
Yeah,
that's a
back
lot
leg,
of
yeah.
hey, that's a big movement time.
It's nasty.
That mean
It's
you thought
nasty.
you could have hit it and when you swing it was gone.
So I
Yeah.
I know I know in college going school with Frenchie them and I got a lot of funny stories. Give me a Terry story that he probably won't want the world to know. A funny Terry story from college.
Um, you know, um I tell Mumba this one earlier. Mumba said we gonna get to it. Terry, we were taking BP, Mister, and Terry were trying BP, and Terry like, yeah, the pitchers weren't really allowed to throw much, you know,
Be,
out of stuff
before
fast, but
before you
back
go
in practice.
before you go any further, I know what I mean. I was just gonna say I know what I mean. BP
Yeah,
back
I
in
yeah,
tell you,
practice.
yeah.
yeah.
You see,
You,
Pag?
and I will watch you, man. I tell you what, I will watch
Nice.
you, man. Listen, we were trying, and Terry were walking, Mister, and we were hitting, and they were really only supposed to chop fastball, change up, fastball, and Terry had a wicked change up. Okay, Terry
Hmm.
changeup was deadly, okay, but his slider and his fastball was the bread and butter. And Terry trying, and we hitting, you know, and Terry like, Jimmy, what you want? What you want? I said, so bring the heat, man. There we go. What you got? Bring it. So he know what he trying, and I know what he trying. Mano and mano, so I take Terry deep center field, boy. He remember that there, but hey, Terry was like, damn, Jimmy, God. But hey, that he ain't gonna like that one there. But
Nice.
he ain't gonna like he gonna like that one there. But
Dead
I could
center
tell you,
field.
this man, hey, there's many times this man had my back. Let me tell you what this man. I'll tell you a good one. This is what this man do. We was in the club, and after the club, we get into this big fight. Somebody try my partner, and GB lose his temper, which does happen. Start a big fight, and somebody bust out my shot, Mister. Bang, and I take off. I dip down and I take off, my son. They might find me like 2 blocks up the road, my son. And then, my son, I'm ready to go, my son. Okay, my son, y'all take me home, my son. You trying to dead, my son. I come here to flip off, my
Right?
son. Let me go. My from the dude in the car. Like, Jack Bailey, you a coward, you a punk. My son Terry dipped this man two last. Knock you out. Go sleep, man. Don't try my cousin like that, bro.
Right.
Go to sleep.
Terry lay one hit a quit on my son. Go sleep, man.
Terry
That's
knocking
the
My
people
back.
out.
that's
That's
the
my
one
cousin.
thing. I don't think that you ever been to college, like a group of VI people. You haven't been to college if you ain't been in a little scrap, my son. Like it just have to happen, my son. It
That's
just
true.
have
Hey,
to happen.
hey,
That's true.
and and Terry will tell you when you were rolling with me, but I a lot more, calm headed now. But back then it was like what the dude said. What did tell me going? When I said, Dito, I think tell me one time he said, GB, you ain't even got a fuse. You ain't even got a fuse. It's just the explosion right now. It ain't got nothing. It's just a boom.
That's
So
true.
yeah,
That's
man.
true.
Yeah, I did have a little temper. I don't know. It was probably bigger than I thought, but
Well, we're glad you never used to walk around with a bat when you go club and thing, and you probably would have hit somebody head off, my son.
at any time when you hanging out down in West Palm and everything, and the way we used to roll. But in that specific night, it was me, Terry, Cliff, and Jeff, four VI man, four VI man, and a couple of other dudes from Fort Pierce. When you rolling like that, and you come up in the club, and you doing your thing, man, will get hot. And things get hot outside, my son. And I try to stay calm, and then that's it.
VI
Yeah.
people just got swagger about them that just annoy other people, my son. Like that jealousy, the man. They just I don't know what it is, my
It's
son.
something, the man. It's something.
When I remember when me and Frenchie are first reach school, my son, and me and Frenchie coming out in our like Tims and we wearing pure players, FUBU and that thing. They weren't wearing that in school. A bunch of Ralph Lauren's and chaps and
Yeah.
man, Mister, we changed
Right.
the whole swag in school cause you trying to see everybody wearing Tims and cause they always used to think we were from New York until we talk. And once they just pick up on that, like maybe like a year later, so you just see Ala, Natica and Chaps and Ralph Lauren's and just went out of style. Now people wearing FUBU, and FUBU even were going out of style, and Rockaway were coming in, and that's all me and Frenchie wearing, and we wearing all the coolest brand. They was not wearing that in school, man.
Pang, Pang, my daughter laughed at me the other day because I had a pair of FUBUs, and she was like, "What's that?" Ah,
That's
she was like,
legendary. That's a legendary brand. That's legendary.
I said, you wouldn't understand. You
You wouldn't understand. She won't understand at
wouldn't
all.
understand. You wouldn't understand.
So
Yeah, man.
so I'm glad that you're a fan of the show, and then, so that means you keeping up with all the interview. Give me about 3 or 4 names that you would like to see on the show.
Okay, well, I do Genix on a live, right? I do the Genix one on a live.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get he back on though, officially.
Yeah.
Okay, because I definitely missed that one. I gotta get I'd like to. I don't think I'll do JD yet.
No.
No,
I don't think I'll do JD yet.
we will do JD.
If I could get me drink,
I go contact Major tomorrow to try and see when
if
if he
I
want to
could
come
get you,
on.
that's a crazy mind right there. But a lot of knowledge in it,
Right.
a lot of
Yeah.
laughs though. Um, let me see. Dito.
I talked to Dito. That's that's a hard one.
Yeah,
I
I
talked to
don't know if he
Dito.
go.
He said
I
he gonna
don't know
think
if he go.
about it.
Okay, see, hey, that's a humble man, like
Yeah.
I can see he just being like, nah, man, it's alright, you know. I tell you, really though, Dito, give me real quick. Dito, give me a piece of clarity when my father passed away, right? I wasn't there when my father passed. I actually get stuck in Puerto Rico in an airplane, on a flight, a connecting flight. And I remember Dito telling me, he's like, man, your father son, you the one. So maybe it was that you didn't see him in that time, in that time of pain, and what he was, how rough it would have been for you. And honestly, because me, I was bugged by it, but I think about that all the time, and maybe that was just how it was supposed to meant to be for us. Shout out to Dito for he gave me a lot of clarity in a rough time. So definitely shout out to Dito.
Yeah, big up to
But I
Dito.
don't know
Big
if you're
up.
gonna I don't know if you're gonna get that one, Demison.
Yeah.
And maybe Kenny Jackson.
That's a new name for
Ken,
me.
yeah,
I
Kenny
don't know who that.
Jackson.
I don't know who that is off the top of my head. So that's a new
I
name
tell
for
you,
me.
when I learned about Kenny, the way I learned about Kenny was when Kenny was, I think it was when baseball went on strike, and
Okay.
Kenny was I think he was one of the extension players that had started playing while they went on strike, if I'm not mistaken. So I got a lot of respect for Kenny Jackson doing a lot of good things with the youngsters too. So
Mm.
Yeah, big up
that's
to Kenny. Big up.
that's just four. I got a whole bunch of them that I could probably tell you about, but
Well, you
definitely
make sure you send them to Mumbai.
I gonna send them to more. I glad how you link me. I glad how you link me, man.
Well, like I said, man, like every interview, at least the ones from Synchron, I even think a few people from maybe one or two people from Rock, everybody name drop you. It wasn't that one baseball player from home didn't mention your name. So it was a must that we had get you on.
So I'm give you who I remember from rap. Definitely Pickle. I already had Pickle.
Right.
Ricky,
Martin.
Martin.
Yeah.
That man was black. Who was it? Star.
Yeah, bad.
I would definitely Momba Geja
Jason.
Geja.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I go get Jason now. Jason
Yeah,
Page.
get your son on because your son
Yeah.
and Mumba went to I get a man over to Bethune.
Oh, so use the connect then.
I used to connect and in Mumbai I
Yeah.
didn't forget. So I respect Mumbai for that because some people don't
Never
forget.
forget.
Hey, I
Yeah.
walk in the office and the coach I look at the list, I said, Coach, dude, Mumba Rivera, he said, yeah, you know him? I said, if I know him, son, he said, here's the phone GB, call him now, tell him where to go. I said, Mumba, Bethune Cookman is the choice. Get on here.
I remember I was in that time I was in Iowa. All the way
Iowa,
Iowa,
yeah.
right? Yeah, I was in Iowa.
That was Isaac Connect right there, pan.
That's good. I think Mumbai did mention that when we had Jasana and that one time we didn't had nobody to interview, right? You did
Right,
mention that story.
Yeah, yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys. You know who you? There's a guy named Pickle mentioning his name. They call him Bill, but his name is Eugene Pickle
Yeah.
mentioning. I can't remember Bill. Listen, you talking about guys that can hit. That guy. Woo, that guy
Hmm.
could hit, man. I ain't definitely props. Because me and remember Teresa, we used to go to St. Thomas to play.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Bill was our that was the guy that we had to show out against all the time
Hmm.
because Bill was the man. Bill was the batsman over there. So Terry had to go and show them what's up on the mound, and GB had to go and show them what's up at the plate.
Hmm.
Partners in crime, brother. Partners in
Partners
crime
in
from
crime.
since
Mark
SPS
Phillips used to go
days.
with us. Mark used to go with us to Mumba. Mark
Marco?
used to come with us every now and then. Thinking Mark and I think I don't know if Kimani went with us, but Mark Phillips I think come with us. So me, Terry, and Mark I think.
Okay.
Terry
Yeah,
said he got Bill number, so that's the connect there.
yeah.
But
Okay. Hey, Bill. The guy, the dude could swing it, man. He got some crazy numbers he gonna give from Houston till it's where he was at. We respect numbers, okay? Yeah,
That's good, man.
respect numbers.
So, Mumba, do
yeah,
you have
man.
any questions? Any additional questions? Anything that you wanted to ask?
No, no, no. I mean, some of the questions I had, GB answered it, and then some of the questions I had you asked him. So, you know, it was it was a great interview, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything, man.
Same,
It was
same with.
fun.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mumba's my little brother, Like Mumba, hey, I glad I didn't kill the man when he was young, man. But I got a quick question for you, Mumba. I got a quick
Yeah,
question
yeah.
for you. Once upon a time, I heard there was a story, right? between you, Neg, and Makil. And I throw the ball, I think, from home plate to see who could throw it over the wall in right field.
Yeah.
Who, first, second, or third, give it to me.
Makila neck threw it over the wall. I didn't make it over the
You
wall.
hit the green wall.
Yeah, I
Hey,
was shot.
listen.
That man Neg. I want to say Neg was first and Maki was second. Neg always had a strong arm. Maki had a strong arm too. But Neg had
Yeah.
a arm. Neg had an
Hey,
arm.
fam,
My arm wasn't that strong in Little League then. My arm started to get stronger. I gonna save it when it's my turn because it's a reason why my
fam,
arm got strong.
fam. These three men, hey, Genix had a farm system with these trees. Son. It's like
Yeah.
about good arms
Yeah.
right there. Definitely, man. Definitely.
Pang, you know that they say a big tree basketball, that was us. Me, Nega, Maki, the big tree in baseball, Little League.
Who is Makil? That
Maki
name is
Rogers.
Yes, you need to get here on. That's one. You
Yeah,
got to
I
get
got
Kilo
the.
on. You got to,
Yeah, I talked to Maki a couple times. A couple times his schedule didn't match up with, So we
right.
definitely I have to get here. It's a
He
must.
sent he sent me a clip the other day of him and his son racing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he beat his son by just a little bit. I said, hey, that's a man with wheels too right there, my son.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you have to know him, man, Pang. If you see his face, man. If
that's
you see his
that's
face,
that's what I thinking.
He
yeah,
Pong, he there in that picture. That's one of the guys that's in that picture.
yeah,
But I
he on
can't
his
I don't
knees.
know.
Yeah, he's the one on his knees, the darkest one.
The real
There,
dark
so
one. They only got three real chocolate man in that picture. They really, really chocolate. Terry McKeever,
Yeah,
Rodney.
so
yeah.
there's okay. That's what I was asking you. There's two dark people in the front in the middle, and I know both of their faces. I don't remember their names, but I definitely know both of their faces.
Yeah, McKeel, Rodney sitting down crisscross, and I think McKeel there on one knee.
Yeah, Makil. Then next to Papo. He have you see what Terry is, Pan?
Yes.
Then
Yeah.
they had then Papo and then Makil. Makil is the dark one next to the light skinned dude next to Terry.
And that's the face that I know. That's the one I thought I live white lady. But he from West though, right?
No, he from East, but he used to be West a lot because of Genix. But he from
Okay.
East.
Phoenix, yeah.
He had
Yeah.
coolie hair, right?
Cool.
Like he had like a gap in a gap in the front, like a.
I don't think
I
so.
don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
No, no.
Okay. Well,
He got
maybe after.
Yeah, but yeah, man,
Yeah,
you know him,
man.
man. You know Makil.
When we get here, man.
Yeah.
So
So
any shout outs, any thing, any final word that you want to give?
Uh, Shout out to the Elite Podcast. Hey.
yeah, big up Elite Podcast. Yeah, Dwayne, we still Makil from East. Blame Genix.
Uh,
Yeah, big
yeah,
up
man.
GBF.
Just yeah, shout out to anybody in my young days that had a good impact on me. You know what? Shout out to Ray Bennett, man. Shout out to Ray Bennett.
I have to get
Because
Ray
even
on. That's why I need to contact.
when I was young, Ray had me on some stuff that a lot of people, probably was doing, but Ray was the first person to try to get me to lift weights and like train, you know. Ray Bennett,
Yeah,
me and Ray Bennett used to play video games, Nintendo all day, all day long in the summer. Definitely shout out to Ray Bennett. Shout out to Big Mo, Terry brother, Maurice, my brother.
Maurice.
Yeah, man.
That's why we need to get more on.
Hey, if listen, that
We
guy,
need to get.
good people's man. That's a Byron to the core.
Yeah, he has a history too. He has a lot of knowledge.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, I just keep them coming, man. Like I learn a little bit more baseball
I go,
every day.
yeah, man. You good, man, Pan. You
Pang,
good.
you gonna be a pro. You know what, Pang? All you gotta do is, find a local batting cage, man. Get back, go there, take some
I need
swings.
to I need to start doing that for real, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
Go,
fun,
go
man.
up
That's
there.
fun. Batting cage is fun.
Hey, Pang, let me tell you something, right? when you connect with a baseball, a good connect, hey, it's a good feeling. Especially
I
with like wood with a wood bat. If you get good connection, the sound of a wood bat is just so crisp. Just a good sound, man. I ain't gonna lie. When you
mhm.
get when you hit that home run, you know it's a no doubt a good feeling,
I,
man.
I wouldn't say good in batting, but I think I got good hand-eye coordination, like I was explaining, because but me know if you I know Mumba no Kilo, you know
Yeah.
Kilo from Rock, Leroy Thomas.
Jimmy, you can hear us?
Yeah, yeah. No, I
You
no, I don't. I don't.
Oh, okay, okay. I know Mumba know
I don't
him.
think so.
And he don't do baseball, yeah. He don't umpire, he don't run late, not he don't playing, still playing in tournaments and leagues and so. So every once in a while he'll bring out his bat and his ball to the court, and we'll go to the baseball field and just hit around. And I remember a couple of Father's Day we play a baseball game, and I was hitting it some distance. You know what I mean?
Okay,
We
okay.
were
Well, you got a little something then.
we
You
were
got
trying
this. You got
Uh,
a
we
little
what,
were
power.
we was throwing on the hand, but they had times when he was throwing. It had sometimes he was throwing
Overhand.
overhand, and I was still rocking them.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how much respect people have for fast pitch girls softball, but let me tell you, they ain't no joke.
Man, I
When
don't
you,
watch I don't watch
ooh,
softball, the girls, like when they come to the World Series and so I don't watch them game there because, like you said, them girls
that
are being.
hey, that stuff,
Yeah.
that stuff is tough to hit, man.
It's
It's
gas, man.
hey,
It's gas.
they trying gas, and the thing is that they don't try. The only pitch that baseball pitch I can't pitch. It's a rice ball. Mumba, I don't know if you ever see a. I don't know if you ever see a. I ain't never see a rice ball in baseball. They try it on the
Never,
hand
nah.
so they can make the ball go up.
Yeah, that's true.
They can make it drop. They can make it go left, right, straight, and up. Baseball don't make the ball go up.
Mm. Well, it was. I don't know if you could tell that we've been on here 3 hours.
Oh
It
damn.
don't
Uh, you
it
know.
it it don't feel like
Hey,
that.
hey, 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 I'm sorry. I'm a big talker. Everybody knows GB got a big
Oh
mouth. That's
no,
big deal.
no, it was never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. So you
Never a
ain't gotta
dull moment, brother.
apologize for nothing. You kept me
I would.
going and locked in.
I tell you, Bang, I love the show, man. I tell you, as long as I could keep this going, dig out every legend, everybody that passed through any sport, back home, any sport, because, really, we just got a ton. I don't tell people around here all the time. This area remind me of being home because when you talk about just tons of just really good, talented, ball players.
Right.
We've always had, you could basically consider the islands being a mecca of talent. It's just a matter. I think now we are more aware of having the right help. I don't know if we had exactly the right type of help that we needed to promote, guys getting drafted. I think maybe we needed better promotions. Bring more scouts in to do workouts. You know, but like I said, I don't know exactly what going home. But as far as I know, they ain't got no more Polly Joseph, right?
Nah.
So the only way we gonna get back things like that, I'm thinking, is we got to get our numbers up for the sport. They definitely got to do something with that area, and it has to be something with a baseball field. Utilize the area the right way. You know, make it a multiplex, whatever it is you want to do, but it can't just stay there with nothing.
Right.
Because if it got something, then you can entice the players even more to be a part. If you have nothing, what's the push?
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
definitely you guys just keep, keep getting anybody on here. Basketball, I don't know. You guys ever had Terry Simon on here?
It gonna be tough, man.
It's a tough one. We would love to
Okay,
have him
all right.
on.
No,
That's a tough
No,
one.
that's just one of the names that I remember. for basketball as a that's I mean that's
Yeah,
just
you
one of the
should.
names that are
Hey,
definitely ring a bell in terms of skill set.
man, Terry was just Terry woke up scoring. Terry woke up shooting the ball. This man walk out the house. Terry is the only man that I don't just see walk on the court like and without warming up nothing and just always hit the first shot at the game. Like always hit the first shot of the game. And Terry could come straight in the game while the game going on already, lace up his shoes, come get sub in, and the first ball he touch, he shoot, he hit, and just hit and going. Like Terry was definitely a pure scorer, and he would score from anywhere on the court. He had hops to dunk on you. I could Terry used to float from the free throw line to dunk. Terry could shoot the three ball. Terry had mid range. Terry could dribble through the hole and
Yeah,
he
Yeah,
had hang tech. The man just
man
the
could have
only
finished
thing the
everything.
only thing Terry didn't have was zero defense.
Defense, yeah,
He
yeah.
had no defense, but he had no weakness on the offensive end. None,
Yeah,
zero. And
right,
it just whatever happened. I don't know the true story behind that. What why Terry went the route he went, but it's just definitely a sad story for him. And if somebody could ever drop a bug in Terry ear and he is willing to do a show, that would be good. It's kind of it, I would want to, but at the same time I don't want to. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Because it's
It
it's
got to
a
be
it's
him, yeah, because
yeah,
great,
because it's definitely a sad situation with Terry, and Terry is one of my was one of my good friends coming up. So it
yeah,
right,
definitely I kind of a little sideways about that one.
right.
yeah. I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Uh,
Definitely.
yeah, man. Just keep checking them names out, man. Dwayne Brannigan, cuz get cuz on there, man. I mean,
Yeah, do it.
they
Yeah,
got a lot.
yeah.
Hey. That's one of the
We
most humble guys I ever met. Good. Yeah,
we
man.
gonna get them, man. We gonna get them one episode at a
I
time.
gonna
We
send
definitely
you a
gonna get
list,
them.
Mumba. I gonna
Yeah,
send you
yeah.
a
Send a
list.
list. Send a
I'm
list, man.
waiting
Send
for
a
the
list.
Mumba Rivera interview. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, Mumba say he want to wait down the line. See,
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
T
it's
young.
it's some people I want to get before I do mine. So that's
right,
why.
right,
You
right.
know.
Hey. Sounds good to me, Mumba. Mumba always been humble, bro. Hey, good guy, man. I always got a big old smile, but he still know.
Eh,
He know. The superpower Shamrocks. That's it. Ain't got no other team in the league ever. That's
Uh,
the squad.
it's
You
your
ain't
show
even hear.
tonight.
You
It's
ain't
your
even
show
hear he
tonight,
said
so
about
you
the
could talk it.
uniform. You ain't hear he said about the uniform. Even the uniform with Chris. I mean, I mean,
uh,
Well, GB, we could
all
stay
right,
ahead. We could stay ahead
all
all
right.
night
But
talking,
I
and
know everybody got to go.
yeah, but we definitely gotta go walk in the morning. So it was a pleasure listening to the man's story.
yes, yes,
Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has a similar route, but different route at the same time.
Right.
Yours was very unique in your way, and
yes.
it was a pleasure sitting here for the time that we spent and listening to your story. Like I said, it was never a dull moment. You kept us going with your stories, and you have an interesting part about that being drafted twice will always
It's
stand out to
crazy.
me. It will always stick out to me, and that really is a testament to your skills and what somebody saw in you to even give you that first offer, and even without playing a game, they came back again to present that offer to you, and that definitely is deserving of that legendary status because not too much
Appreciate
people
it.
will ever get an opportunity.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. Hey, great show, GB. I echo everything Pang said. Pang just be stealing words out my mouth, man. But I echo everything Pang said, and just on top of that, man, I appreciate everything. You're a big brother to me. I appreciate what you did for me, and giving me advice on me going to Bethune Cookman and everything. So you played a part in my journey, as far as me expanding my baseball career and stuff like that. So I appreciate everything you done for me. I appreciate, we competing against each other in Little League and
Sure.
stuff like that, and just have the time for us to just sit down and for all three of us to have this conversation, and everybody in the chat, chiming in and throwing out names and throwing out memories and stuff. That's why I appreciate, stuff like these moments is what means a lot to me. This is what's gonna live on forever. And it was just a pleasure to hear your story. It was a
I
pleasure to hear your
appreciate it.
story, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Appreciate you
man.
for having me.
Anytime. Shout out to everybody that was watching, everybody that was in the comments, I'm saying Dwayne, Terry, you know, um,
Derek
uh,
Willis.
Willis, yeah, everybody that was chiming in and stuff like that. We appreciate you guys. Um, when we do once the COVID is settled and stuff, and we got a chance to do what we want to do for the youths, then like myself and Pang and Tegan have talked about many episodes. We definitely gonna have the viewers involved as well. We love to hear you guys' ideas and stuff like that. This is not just the three of us, but it's everybody, because we are one. And it's each one teach one mentality here. So, anybody have any ideas and stuff like that, you could hit us up. You know, but we definitely gonna, once we have the planning, once we have everything in play, we're gonna reach out to everybody, and everybody could be a part of this, because it's for the youths, and it takes
Sure.
everybody. So thank you for everybody supporting and tuning in as always. Remember, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Fact.
V.I.Legends with a S. Make sure you guys subscribe. Our episodes is gonna be on, and it's gonna be on until the end of time. So
For
um
sure.
also the Elite Podcast, the Facebook page. Also go over and follow, like, the videos is there as well too. So anybody could always go back and watch all the previous episodes, etc. If your kids that want to do a paper and a VI legend, you have a bunch of videos they could look at, and they could write a paper about VI legend. So
That's a good idea.
yeah, yeah. So much love to everybody. GB, much love to you. Pan,
All
you
right.
take us home. You the man.
Blessings, fellas. Well, everybody, there's a lot of place that you could have been, but you sat here and chill with us tonight. We really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? GB had a great
For sure.
story. Another successful show. Loving every one of the shows, and we signing off tonight. Man like me gotta wake up all in the morning and go walk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Only good thing
All
about
right.
it, I ain't gotta drive nowhere. Just wake up and roll over and jump on the computer and start working. But
All right.
thank everybody for sitting this one out with us, and give
Thanks for
thanks.
having
And
me.
no
Thanks for
problem,
having
man. GB.
me.
no problem. Good night, everybody.
Good
Much love.
night,
Love it.
everybody. Bless
All
up.
right. All right. All right. Take it easy.
Yeah, you
Yes.
too.